and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on GLVS1.com, the Vegas station.
This generation rules the nation with version. Music and the food of love. Songs to really make you rock and scrub. Slam slam with a little mama bang bang bang. I said,
the touchy on the left hand side. The touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
give me the music, make me jump and go.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
It was a cool and lonely, breezy afternoon. You could feel it 'cause it was the month of June. So I left my gate and went out for a walk. As I passed the dreadlocks camp, I heard them say, pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
Give me the music, make me jump and go.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
Give me the music, make me jump and go.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
So I stopped to find out what was going on.
How does it feel when you got no food?
For the spirit of Jah, you know He leads you on.
Feel when you got no food?
There was a ring of dread and the session was there in swing.
Feel when you got no food?
I used to feel the chill as I seen and heard them sing.
Feel when you got no food?
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
Give me the music, make me jump and go.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
Give me the music, make me jump and go.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it. So me say listen to the drum and me say listen to the bass. Give me little music, make me wind up me waist. Me say listen to the drum and me say listen to the bass. Me say them like how me caress, me say them like how me a dress. They everywhere they go, they just a say me a the best, me a the boss. Inna the 81, 'cause me a the boss. Inna the 81, 'cause they 1, they 2, operator and so you. 3, 4, we come fi skank on the floor. 5, 6, we come fi show you the way. 7, 8, come me say don't be late. 9, we come fi mash you all up for your friend. We come fi mash you all up for your friend. We come fi mash you again. Bang 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 bang. So me say east, say west, say north and south. This is gonna really make you jump and jump. So me say east, say west, say north and south. This is gonna really make you jump and jump. I say,
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
give me the music, make me jump and come.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
Give me the music, make me jump and come.
It's a go done.
Give me the music, make me looking at it.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Check check check.
I said,
Test 1 2.
LVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. Talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on GLVS1.com, the Vegas station.
It is CLVS1.com, the biggest band of show. Mark Cardenas along with Joe Payne on a Friday afternoon. What's happening, Mr. Joe?
Where do I start?
Okay, all right. Well, we got so many things to talk about. First of all, we got a continuation of last week, because if you tuned in and were listening last week,
you had to come rescue me.
I had to come rescue you because your car broke down. Your truck, your 2-year-old truck.
Here's the sad situation. I guess when you buy American, this is what happens. No, I'm only kidding. I have three cars. 2 of them are relatively brand new. since last Friday, all 3 of my cars have somehow wound up in some sort of dilemma repair. Like yesterday, my Honda S2000, I go to start it, it doesn't start.
Okay.
Thank God I got a clutch.
Wait, that's Japanese.
That is Japanese. But okay, last week was the Chevy.
Okay.
In the middle of this week was my other Chevy S10, which my stepson Hunter drives around in. That had problems, so that was in the shop. And then yesterday I go to start the Honda, that won't start. It was, thank God, it was just a battery. And then this morning, running around doing last-minute wedding stuff, and the car, the S10, the one that broke down on the highway last week. All I did obviously was a belt. I just snapped the belt, which in turn snapped the pulley, I guess, but that was repaired the following day.
I know how to put gas in. That's about it.
I don't know. You believe in signs like, so when you're playing poker, you're like, sometimes you're running good and sometimes you're running bad?
Well, it's bad luck to be superstitious.
I'm asking you, do you believe in signs, though? Stop signs, yield signs.
Absolutely.
I don't know if this is any sign at all, but, I'm getting married tomorrow, and, it seems that everything's breaking down. I don't think this is good for Sissy. Well, what's the next thing to break down? Me?
True. You are old, so no.
Yeah.
Older.
I'm older than dirt.
Yeah.
As one of my friends tells me, you're older than dirt.
No, I don't think it's a bad sign. You are getting married tomorrow, so first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To you and Sissy. More congratulations to you than Sissy, I think. But
yeah, I hit a home run.
Yes, you did.
I hit for the cycle.
Yes, you did. And then also now is tomorrow when you're actually taking the name of Mr. Sissy Murphy.
Sissy's mom and sister are in town, and they didn't know about this thing that I started about becoming Joe Murphy starting tomorrow. And when we started telling the story, we've been out all week here, running around taking them here, doing the tourist thing with them. And I guess over dinner one of the nights this week, I said, yeah, a couple more days and I'll be Joe Murphy. And Sissy's mom looked at me. I'm like, what? Oh, you didn't know? Sissy's getting married for insurance. I'm getting married to develop a new personality, a new identity. Not a new personality. I like my personality. But they didn't know. And it was funny. I don't know if I told you this, but the DJ, we met with the DJ in the middle of the week to kind of set up a timeline of doing this and cutting the cake and first dance and intro. And he said, I guess he reads my Facebook, he said, so you really want me to introduce you as Mr. and Mrs. Joe Murphy? And I'm like, yeah, they hold up on that. I said, it was till it's official hold up, because I was like, I started as a joke, and it's taken its own life.
Well, yeah, but for what you do for a living, it makes perfect sense.
It actually does. And it's funny because, things in life kind of run together, and our guest today is Jamie Gold, and, and I want to ask Jamie this question, and how he did a lot of talking in 2006.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of talking about his hand, and since then, I don't think they called it the Jamie Gold.
No, it is. It is called the Jamie Gold Rule.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Is it called the Jamie Gold Rule?
The Jamie Gold Rule,
where you can no longer. And I want to ask him if this was something that he intentionally did, knowing before the tournament started, where he said, "I'm just going to start telling people about the strengths of my hand and start showing what I'm saying is the truth," and then later on adjusting. Which I believe he did, because a couple of times he lied or didn't tell the whole truth.
I think, if I remember correctly, because that was kind of the trend that was going on, was that he always told the truth.
It was,
and people didn't.
Because there comes a point where you go, when you're playing poker and somebody raises and then they raise again and raise again, the mentality that you think is you can't have a hand every time.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that, and we'll ask Jamie when he comes on, you can't be telling the truth all the time, so I'm going to call him this time because this time I think he's lying. And I want to find out from him whether this was something that he thought about before he started, or did it kind of take a life of its own? He may have done it once, and then all of a sudden he realized, wow. And then it just kind of mushroomed to a point of where the Tournament Directors Association now have put this rule in where, from what I understand, because it just kind of went into effect recently, and correct me here if I'm wrong, you cannot say anything about your hand, because not years ago, the rule prior was you could say whatever you wanted about your hand as long as it wasn't the truth.
As long as it wasn't the truth, correct.
Right. So now what's the deal? Do you know?
I know that rule came into effect actually right after that. I think it was in 07 or 08 when that rule came into effect. And then out there, I've heard talk about changes. There's a lot of the pro players right now that have been playing in, I guess in Spain,
Epic?
Barcelona.
Oh, Barcelona, okay.
And they had a lot of funky rules out there too, such as like you couldn't even have your phone or an iPad or anything on the rail.
Really?
And if you weren't in your seat by the time the first card came, your hand was dead.
It's usually the second card, right?
By the time your second card comes, yeah. If you weren't in there by the time the first
And a lot of
card,
the American players, and we've discussed this before, the new thing is now is to tweet what's going on in a tournament.
Your chip count.
Chip count, where you're standing, kind of table, the players at your table. So the American players must be having a difficult time adjusting to this. No phones on the rail.
Absolutely, and it was a big complaint on Twitter. But I follow a lot of the players on Twitter.
And I haven't been following it. So is the deal is they have to get it completely away from the table to use their phone?
I don't know if they have to get it completely away. From my understanding, it just couldn't be on the rail. So if they had it in their lap, I don't know.
Okay. And for our new listeners, the rail is the actual outer edge of the table, because people say, "Oh, I'm on the rail sweating you." You're not really on the rail when you say that.
We are on the outer rail.
The outer rail.
Table,
yeah. Because when you said the rail, my first opinion was that they had to step back to where the general public would stand when they're watching tournament. But when you were referring to the rail
of the table,
the actual rail of the table, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
So I heard something about the Jamie Gold rule not being in effect on some tournament. Although I know that Epic Poker League had a rule this year. I mean, they just started this year, that you couldn't wear hoodies. You couldn't cover your face other than sunglasses.
Wow.
That's the only thing you could use to cover your face. And you're not allowed to wear hoodies or anything else.
And Joe Navarro, who's worked with a couple of the big players, encourages them to cover as much facial as they can.
I know that he coached Phil Hellmuth into doing this. But I think that's okay. But I think it's with clothing or anything else like that.
I know you're going to know this. I know you worked for ESPN during this year's World Series, but you're a poker guy. So do you remember the guy? And I don't remember who he was, but he moved all in on the pot, and then he took his hood and completely covered his head, so his opponent could not get any facial read at all.
Yeah,
do you remember that? Because it was on ESPN.
Yeah, was it against Lindgren? I think
it was against one of the big pros.
Yeah.
And I guess, I guess you and I, we come into association and contact with all these guys, so they're not as we're not as starstruck as somebody who comes to town who has saved all year to play in a World Series tournament, and then all of a sudden he's up against Howard Leder or Phil Ivey, Phil Hellmuth, some of the big names and he knows I probably have some sort of tell. Even if you don't, you think to yourself, I got to have a tell. So what's the best way to hide it? The gentleman actually completely went. He did a submarine, so to speak.
Yeah.
Covered his head up, and they had to tap him to tell him, okay, he folded. It's okay to come out.
I can't remember who it was, but actually on that note of somebody coming in town, saving up all year, ready to play and all that stuff, in my opinion, I think if you are saving up and coming back, the worst thing you can do is be starstruck when you go in to go play, because that's going to totally change.
Well, there's, in my opinion, there's two types of players that come into town that are new. They're either starstruck or their whole life is to bluff one of these pros out of a pot.
Yeah.
And
which is a mistake,
big mistake, because the truth of the matter is, these guys are really tough. They're not tough to bluff out, because they're not going to put a whole bunch of chips in unless they got a solid hand. But if you happen to guess wrong or try to make your 15 minutes of fame at the wrong time, you're going to look like a real jackass walking out the door. When you put all your money in with Jack 5.
Jack 5 is a fantastic hand, sir.
Well, I just set yourself up for that one, didn't I? So how was your week? Well, I understand you were out in California.
I did. I went to, I was, not I did.
Is this part of the getting the strip poker series?
No, actually, this was just a vacation. Labor Day weekend, went out to a town called Grover Beach, just outside of Pismo Beach.
Okay.
And went out there. on Saturday. Of course, we've talked about it before, how much I love the California card rooms. And so we were going through some back roads, going to take 58 through Bakersfield, and then went on some other road, and happened to see a billboard for a casino, Diamond Jim's Casino.
Is this a new one?
It's a California card room. I guess it's been there for a while. Not a very big place. It looks like kind of like maybe the size of a Vons or something. Not even about.
How many tables?
There was about 12 poker tables.
That is a small card room for California.
Yeah, and not the smallest, because I'll tell you about a couple other ones. But about 12 poker tables, and it had 2 or 3 blackjack tables, 3 card, and a couple of Pai Gow.
Okay.
I like to play California Pai Gow. So I walked in.
You like to play Pai Gow, period.
I like to play Pai Gow, period, but specifically California Pai Gow, just because the rules are totally different. The fact that the Joker is wild, the fact that you can bank more often, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
So I sat down to play. Actually, it was closed. The table was closed. I walked in and I said, are you guys going to open Pai Gow? And they're like, yeah, right away. They opened it for me. Not even 2 minutes later, it was open. Great. So I sat down to play and only played for about 20 minutes. Bought in for $120. Walked out with $480.
That's not bad.
Not bad, in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we left. We get to Grover Beach. We meet up with a friend of mine. I went with a friend of mine, Jason Steiner, who's actually going to be in the show later on. He's actually a radio on-air talent. Has
later on today or later on?
No, later on, sometime in the future. He was a radio talent for years at one of the local country stations, KWNR. Anyway, he invited me out to go out there. We went to stay with some friends of his, and they had a nice beach house, and they had a nice dinner cooked, so we sat there and we ate. But, of course, I'm itching to go play because I know I'm in California, and I did some research and found out there were 2 card rooms within less than a mile of these people's houses.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, okay, great. So we finished eating dinner, and I'm like, great, I'm going to go out and find this card room. And they said, it's just right around the corner. They gave me directions. I went over there. I walked in. This place, if you can see the studio, it looks pretty good right here. We've got the big Las Vegas sign. We're actually right in front of the Las Vegas sign.
Yeah.
So,
on the strip.
On the strip, yeah.
See those cars going by?
I tell you, it's fast. Ooh, watch out. The card room that I walked in there was about the size of this studio.
That's pretty small.
It may be 3 times the size. We'll be generous and say 3 times the size of this studio, of this room right here. It had 4 poker tables. That's it. Okay.
Wow. They had them jammed in pretty good then.
They had them jammed in pretty good. There was one game going on, and there was like 4 people waiting on the list. So I didn't want, and plus they didn't have Pai Gow, and I wanted to play Pai Gow. I could play poker anywhere, but I wanted to play Pai Gow. I don't like playing poker too much in California because California has some really good poker players. So, as opposed to Vegas, there's not very, believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of, I think the players in California are actually better caliber.
Well, the players in California are better because very few people actually go to California to play poker.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming from any part of the country and you're going to gamble,
you're going to come to Vegas.
You're coming to Vegas,
yeah.
and I don't want to interrupt your story, but I got a good follow-up to the caliber of players. But yes, the caliber of players in California tend to be better.
Yeah.
Then you also have there's a rumor going around that there's a lot of collusion also in
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I've read those stories and
people of Asian descent.
And the reason that I can believe that is I went into this card room and in the other card room, and I looked all over the place. Now, I've been in the casino business for a while. You've been in casinos for a long time. I didn't see very much of any surveillance cameras.
In California?
In these 2 particular card rooms that I went in?
Really?
I saw no cameras. And I mean, like I said, the room was very small. It was an older building. Both of them were older buildings, like in a kind of a strip center type of thing. And they were... I didn't see any surveillance whatsoever. I know you can hide cameras pretty well, but most casinos that you go in, you can see the smoked bubble,
most casinos that you go into, there's millions, and when I say millions of dollars in chips, which are negotiable. Mm-hmm. It plays like cash, which is the casino's money. In a poker room, most tables have $300, I believe, is a standard. You're a dealer.
It depends on what you're...
It depends on the limit, but usually if you're playing a low-limit game...
Whatever your impressment is, anywhere from $400 to $600.
Yeah, somewhere in the area. Yeah. So, but 90% of the money, 95% of the money that's in a card room...
Doesn't belong to the casino.
Doesn't belong to the casino, so, why set up a camera to watch somebody else's money?
True, but still, you would think that there would be some kind of surveillance.
Well, there is. I'm sure there is, but it's probably not as... you being not only in the poker world, but in the actual casino world, it's not as sophisticated as the surveillance that exists
True.
You know,
No, and
in the
I don't
casinos.
expect it to be, but but still, you'd want to see some kind of presence of some kind of surveillance. And I'm sure there's in the cage. There's got to be, because you've got a guy making
Yeah.
$10 an hour, and that is.
Well,
that's
yeah, I'm
his
sure.
money
I'm
there.
sure there's actually in the card rooms in California. I'm sure the better surveillance cameras are probably watching the employees
Correct.
dispense the money from the chips,
Correct.
like when you want to cash out. So
So anyway, went into this card room. 4 tables, 1 game going, 4 people on the list. I was like, nah, I'm not waiting for this. I said, where's the other card room? They said, oh, it's right down the street. Walked in the other one. This one was even smaller than the first
and the name
one.
of that place is
Mongo's was the first one in Grover Beach, California. The next one was in a town called Oceana, which is less than a mile away. And this one was the Oceana card room.
Okay.
Once again, tiny little place, 3 tables only. Walked in, they were in the middle of a tournament, so 2 tables were going. No pie gow, but they did have a blackjack. You'll love this. This blackjack, dealt out of a shoe, 6-deck blackjack dealt out of a shoe, 6 to 5.
nice.
No insurance even offered.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're not counting,
Yeah,
you
But
don't want to take insurance.
but not even offered though. Not even having
Okay.
the option of it. No surrender. But you can split up to 4 times and double after a split, which was the only good thing that I saw.
And I'm thinking out loud here. I'm thinking that the reason that they're do not offer insurance, because insurance is a great bet for the casino. It's probably just it's going to confuse the dealers.
True, because this dealer was the dealers that I played against were pretty slow, and it took them a while to figure out some hands.
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. O'Shea's. Have you ever played? By the way, have you ever played in the poker room at O'Shea's?
Yes, I have, right on the street.
You mean
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
poker rooms
one-
that sit on Las Vegas Boulevard?
Yeah, it's
literally?
actually on the sidewalk.
If you ever come to town, even if you don't play there, you have to go there and just see that literally the poker tables are on the sidewalk.
Yeah, yeah.
Of
Two
O'Shea's.
10 spread limit game.
Right, and well, they initially they were one of the first casinos, not the first, but one of the first casinos to really kind of go with the 6 to 5 blackjack on their single and double deck game. First it was the single deck games, and then it went to the double deck games. Well, then a short time later, and this when I say short time later, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, they went to 6 to 5 on their shoe games.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine asked I don't know whether it was a shift manager, floor person, backup shift. I'm not that I can understand why you're going to 6 to 5 on the single deck games, but why did you go 6 to 5 on the shoe games for? And his response was, so our dealers don't get confused.
Wow. I would think it's because, not to say that tourists are stupid, but because tourists are stupid. Don't know the difference.
You come to town, you just want to play. You just want to have fun, and you really, very few people, except for smart players, really look and to see what the rules of the game are.
Exactly.
That's why they call them ploppies, because they just plop down in the seat with no preparation whatsoever. So they just sit down. And how I wanted to segue is that I had a meeting Wednesday with Nick Gullo. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. The new poker room manager at the Tropicana, who we will have on as a guest here very shortly. And when I say very shortly,
Sometime in the future.
sometime in the future, not today. Boy, they and I don't know if you've been to the Tropicana. They've really done a nice job there, and in the complete property, they've really cleaned it up.
I actually have not been to the new poker room. I've been in the property, and I know that tomorrow I will be there. 5-figure poker score
Right.
is having a tournament there
Well, you
tomorrow
need to
that they've
go.
invited me.
Actually, when you go there, Nick will be there.
Okay.
Kind of a salty kind of guy. Been in town for like 60-something years. Been in the casino business for like 40+ years. I mean, the man is a book waiting to be written.
Okay.
I mean, he's got great stories, and he told me that, but that he gets. And then remember, it's a strip property, so you get very few locals.
Mm-hmm.
But he's bringing locals in, and we'll talk about what he's doing to bring them. And I'll be going to be going down there on Tuesday nights. But he has a majority of locals, non-locals, tourists come up to the podium and say to him, and I'm quoting him, "You got that game where you go all in on?" And he says, "Joe, I get that like 6-7 times a day.
Wow.
You got that game that you go all in?" So he says, I normally like to have the Nolan games have at least $100 buy-in, somewhere between 100 and 3. But these people, I let them buy in for 40 because I know it's only a matter of time before they pull out the other 60 for the initial buy-in of 100. He said, but it's a pretty sweet game down at the Trop. So if you are in town and you're looking for a spot that maybe somebody's lawn is kind of new and hasn't been walked on yet. So this is the Tropicana kind of falls into that category. He's got a lot of I guess I could say this, a lot of suckers who watch poker on TV. You know, that game where you move all in on?
The one where you push
yeah,
all
you
your
push
chips
all.
on?
And you like that.
And when can you look at your cards?
Yeah, exactly. So if these are people who are they're a one-trick pony, they got one move, push all in. If you can be patient, which most locals are, most locals are called grinders. If you want to go grind at the Tropicana, it may be a profitable situation for you because they got tourists that want to play that game where you move all in on.
You know, there's a comedian, Ron White, a country comedian, Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and he does a bit about that where he likes to play blackjack, but he went into a casino once where he was performing, and he decided to play poker. So he goes in, he buys in, he sits down, and he starts playing, and he's like, hey, where's the screen with the graphics where I can see what everybody's cards are?
Well, how big of a favorite or underdog am I?
or what percentage I have, yeah.
But Nick, and I don't know if do you play Raz?
I've never played it live.
Okay.
I played it online.
And it's red in Las Vegas. I don't think I've ever found a place that spreads a Raz game.
Yeah.
Except Nick spreads a Raz game on Tuesday nights at the Tropicana, a 2 to 8 limit game of Raz.
2 to 8 limit on Tuesday nights Tropicana?
Yes.
I'm there.
And I won't be there this Tuesday because I am getting married on Saturday. So
wait. Now, are you going on honeymoon? Where are you going?
Well, actually, we've kind of delayed our real honeymoon.
Uh-huh.
We're thinking about going to Tahiti.
Nice.
Or Aruba in December.
Are you going to be back by that Friday for the show?
Yeah, I will be back. But we're doing a little hop, skip, and a jump out to Casablanca. I'm giving them a plug, and not even a sponsor, but they have a great...
Ooh, honeymoon in Mesquite. That's romantic.
Hey, you know what? You can go to the Virgin Islands, you go to the Bahamas.
Wait, are you going for that 99 special of
hey,
golf and spa?
You know what? I really don't want to discuss the intimate details of my honeymoon.
I feel so sorry for Sissy.
But no, Sissy and I have gone out there before, and the kids went back to Georgia last summer, and we decided, hey, let's go, let's try this. We had seen the ad for that they do have a special where you get 2 rounds of golf for 2 massages in your room for like $99. We went out there and had a blast. The rooms are really nice. The spa is incredible.
Yeah, Casablanca is really nice hotel.
So we're thinking about going out there for 2 days.
Yeah.
So we may do that just to kind of a little filler.
Yeah.
And then take a honeymoon sometime in December.
Cool. And if we're still on, then are you going to phone in?
What do you mean if we're still on?
If we're still on, if we don't get canceled?
Well, we may be nation. Well, we are nationwide now.
We're worldwide right now.
We might be syndicated by December.
Absolutely.
We'd
be up to maybe 10 or 15 listeners.
We might have, our producers from Hawaii. Maybe we can get one of those we'll go on location.
That's right.
What is Is there a Hawaii?
That's hang loose, right?
Hang loose. Okay. Yeah. Our producer's giving us a hang loose from here.
That's right.
But.
So, all right. So back to Oceana, the 6-5 blackjack, the blackjack there. So
no insurance.
No insurance, yeah. So they were in the middle of a tournament, so I couldn't get in there if I wanted to, and so I said, well, you know what? I'm up $400 from earlier. I played a little blackjack. I bought it for $200. 5 minutes, I'm done. 5 minutes. I think I won maybe 2 hands. Okay, 5 minutes, I'm done. Okay, I leave. Never coming back here again.
Now, is this regular? I don't want to call it regular blackjack.
Regular blackjack.
Because it plays 6 to 5, but all the other rules are basically the same.
Exactly, all the other rules are basically the same.
Except no surrender.
They call it real Vegas blackjack.
No surrender.
No surrender. And no insurance. Other than that, split.
You can double down. You can
double down on anything.
Double down after split.
Double down after split. Split anything.
Hit or stand on soft 17.
Hit soft 17, which is standard for most places. I mean, you rarely see places anymore that stay on 17.
Yeah, I've been down to a number of casinos on the strip. All the big casinos in their six deck shoe games usually stand on all 17s.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't play a lot of blackjack anymore.
I know that.
Yeah. I play Pai Gow.
You keep on calling me saying, when we going down?
I know. When are we going down?
I've been busy, and I've been busy, but once this all kind of settles down,
the wedding,
once all my cars get out of the repair shop, I pay all the bills.
You got to come up with the money to pay the bills. Come on.
God almighty.
Okay, so I sat down to play. $200, lost that. All right, I said to myself, I'm never coming back here, 6 to 5, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I get back. Jamie Gold's just texting me. Good. He'll be calling in at 4. So where was I? So I said I'm never coming back. So I go back to my friend's house, and they, that was the end of the night. We sat around, had a few drinks and stuff, and went to bed. Next morning, that was Saturday night. Sunday morning, wake up, they make a nice breakfast. I finish eating breakfast. I'm sitting there. Everybody just kind of, one of them wanted to go out to the beach to go out and check that out, and I was like, well, I'm not a beach person, so maybe I'll go play some cards. So I go back to, I knew the first place only had poker, and I actually went there first because I thought I'd play a little Hold'em. Closed on Sundays. Card room is closed on Sundays. Apparently, it's, I don't know if it's a religious thing or just what, but they were closed on Sundays.
There's 2 days of the week a casino. Well, actually, there's 3 days of a week a casino should never be closed. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
God almighty.
So
really.
Sundays it's closed. So I'm like, all right. So I went to the other place. And there was not a poker game. No, there was an Omaha high-low split game going, which I hate high-low split. Can't stand it. I hate to give up half the pot to somebody that's just got lucky. So
and that happens quite often,
yes.
Especially with the low end.
Exactly. It was a 4-8. So 4-8 Omaha high-low split. So I said, well, I don't want to play that. And so the blackjack table was sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it one more time. $240, less than 5 minutes this time. I won one hand.
Wow.
One hand.
And you do, and I will tell you this, as a professional blackjack player, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It happens to the best players in the world. There, fine. Or you have a really good idea of what's left in the deck. You're going to tail your bets, but you have no control of the 2 cards you get.
Absolutely.
And if you're playing heads up, I mean, it could be very well that you're getting the 19s when the dealer's getting the 20s, or you're getting the 20s when the dealer's getting the blackjack. That happens.
Yeah.
This
particular dealer, and I know it's totally, it's random. The numbers are coming out, but just seems to be pulling 21s out of his ass. I mean, just every hand. I've got 19, 20. I've got 20, 21. Every single time. I was just like, this is. And like I said, it wasn't very long, 5 minutes, I was done.
We talked about, and I think last week, didn't we talk about me going over to playing a little blackjack at the M?
Yes, you did.
Did I tell you the story about the dealer hitting a 20?
Yes, and busted on 30?
Oh, yes, okay. I didn't know where I retold that story the other night to a bunch of buddies of mine, and they were hysterical laughing when they said the dealer hit 20. I said, yeah, she just whacked it and 30 and then called the floor over who really wanted to take our money. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, so, and this blackjack dealer was horrible, too. I mean, it was taking him forever to deal out of a shoe, and I mean, the card placement, it irritated me. So anyway, not only was I irritated because I lost, but just irritated because one of my big pet peeves is just incompetence. If you don't know how to do something...
Mechanics of the game.
No, just incompetence, period, in life. But yeah, if you can't do something, get another job, because I've gone out to play. I was playing a dice a couple of days ago, and it just so happened that on the side that I'm working in a very busy game, and the dice are actually rolling well, and then a dealer comes in that's trying to learn the game, and so taps in on a break. And it was just like, it was taking her forever, and I'm like, come on, get the dice rolling. The dice are actually rolling.
You're one of those guys who believe when the dice are hot, you want to keep them moving.
Exactly. And I know it's bad luck to be superstitious, but yeah.
Somebody just said a couple of seconds ago,
exactly.
You're not superstitious now, are you?
Well, every gambler's superstitious. Come on, you know that. But,
this is true.
But, it just irritates me. It's like, do you have to learn? Do you have to train right now? Can't you, go to break, go have a hamburger, go away. Let me do that, let the game going on. Or the other thing that irritates me.
As a dealer, which you were, you have to learn somewhere.
True.
And practicing at home is okay, but you're not going to really learn the game until you start, unless you do a live demo, so to speak.
And that's true, but there's times when you can do it, but not on a game that's, if there's only one table open and it's a jam table, you
really should not put a break-in deal
exactly on there.
Yeah, and actually the casino, when the dice are hot, I know the players want the dice to go up, but the casino
wants them to slow down.
Down. So maybe they sent their cooler in.
That's true. But I mean, the dice kept rolling. It was just taking forever. Had there been more rolls being able to go, I think I ended up making money on the game, but I probably superstitiously could have made more had the dice been moving along. Plus the other thing, and Anthony, or my partner
Anthony
in the show,
Moulet,
not Mule, but Moulet.
It is spelled
M-U-L-E, but with the little thing on the end.
And that his nationality is
Italian.
Moulet.
I mean, he's American, but Italian.
Well, of Italian descent.
Yeah.
As
are
me.
you, yeah.
As am I.
As are you. We were both playing, and it's so irritating because everybody's just throwing prop bets up, and $1 hard way, and $1 hop in.
That's what really slows the game down.
And a $3, and it's like, shh.
And don't you hate, I mean, I don't play that much dice, but don't you hate when, right before the stick person, because right now, again, we have males and females, the stick person is just about to push, and then they decide, hey, give me...
all the hard ways for $1 each.
Well, how about when they go, give me... and they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Well, how about doing this when the dice are in the middle of the table?
Exactly.
You know?
And I mean, just taking forever. And then, another pet peeve, and why am I going off on pet peeves right now? The other pet peeve is when people buy in the middle of a roll. Every time somebody buys in the middle of the roll, 7 out.
Oh,
every single time.
Okay, well, if you believe that,
off.
then what is your opinion
Off.
when the dice go off the table?
When the dice go off the table,
You take your bets down?
I don't take them down. I usually say off one roll.
Off one roll.
Yeah. It's
Why?
superstition.
Why?
It's stupid. Because every roll is independent. I know, but it just seems that way. It seems that way whenever a cocktail waitress comes by in the middle of a hot
it's
roll.
funny you said that because
7 out.
And I believe 2 weeks ago when we had Marvin Ornstein call in.
Yeah.
His claim is he's never won a bet when a cocktail waitress is standing behind him.
Yep. Almost every time.
Or when his wife calls him. It's actually his ex-wife.
If I get a phone call from somebody, yes. My phone rings and I'm like, I've been winning every hand, and my phone rings and then
I don't know. Marvin may be listening today. I don't know if he is, but I've been in a situation where Marvin was a really good count. Him and I have got a couple $100 in a circle. We're waiting for the deal, and Marvin's phone rings, and he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he says, "Pull your bet back."
Pull your bet back.
I'm looking at him like, the count's good. Pull your bet back. I'm like, why? He goes, it's my wife, Ronnie. I've never won a bet when she
Table minimum.
So when Ronnie calls, and Ronnie probably never hear this, but when Ronnie calls or a cocktail waitress is anywhere within Marvin's vision, his claim is he's never won a bet when either one of these things happen.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, here's the guy who only plays the math of the game.
Yeah.
Except if his wife calls or a cocktail waitress or something, throw the math out, he's not winning that bet.
Okay, so let's go on my list of bad omens would be cocktail waitress coming up. Usually the cocktail waitress only on a dice table. On blackjack or pie guy or anything else doesn't matter. But on dice table, when they come up, almost every time, 7 out. When somebody buys in the middle of the roll, and I'm talking about the middle of the roll, it's going, the point's been established and it's going, and somebody comes and buys in, 7 out. When somebody puts their hands in and it taps the dice.
Oh, I just hate that.
Keep your hands up, and one of the things that I used to love to do when I was sitting box, the stick person's job is like, watch your hands, so I would always go like this. Watch my hands, okay. So anyway, the dice hit the player's hands, or if they hit a pile of chips.
Doesn't it seem always, like, especially if it's like a don't player and he's got his flat bet and he's got this big pile of odds and it hits that.
You know what though? I love playing when there's a don't player.
Why is that?
Because I feel like I gotta get this. I want to kick this guy's ass.
You're taking it personal.
Yes, I do. Because everybody else, it's like a team. It's like a team effort. And then somebody comes up and bets a don't. And I actually like that. I'm like, yeah, I want to take you down.
I actually play the don't quite often, and I play it because of the math of the game.
Well, of course, yeah.
The don't is, it's 1.3% house edge on your flat bet on the don't or the don't pass. The don't actually has a tiny bit of a little bit of less of an edge to the house. So, you know me, I'm looking for any little decimal points I can pick up. I don't mind the don't because once you get by the come out roll, you're the favorite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You absolutely are. But there was a guy that was playing this at the casino we were at. I don't know if I should say the name of the casino, but
what does it sound like?
It sounds like Suncoast.
Okay.
So,
I love when we do that. We never name the casino.
Never.
We just say what it sounds like.
Exactly, just what it sounds like. And so this guy walks in, and he must have been. He was so roided up. I mean, he was like beefcake type of and he looked like a Russian mobster, just all and with the sweatpants and the shiny jacket. And he comes up and he buys in for $500 and puts one bet out for like $20, loses it and walks away. I mean, just why and. Right in the middle of the roll, too. Right in the middle of the roll.
Trying to impress people.
Yeah, right in the middle of the roll. So, anyway, guy was an idiot. We're, glad when he left. But he ended up losing. He bet the don't, and as soon as he bet it, we made the point. So, it was great. So, that was good.
So, let me ask you a question. When you have a don't player at the table, and the dice are cold,
Hmm.
does that bother you that don't players at the table?
Not at all, because I just me and my weird mind and mental things. I'm like, I know I want to take this guy down. You know.
Do you shoot, like a lot of times if they have a tall bet of chips, do you try to knock them down?
No, because I one of my pet peeves once again is
that brings the 7.
yeah, hitting chips with the dice. Yeah, that brings it. So no, I won't aim for it.
So do you stay away from, like if a player's got a small stack, whether he be a right player or a wrong player? When I say right or wrong, I mean pass line,
or
don't
pass.
pass.
Yeah.
Do you try to you throw away from where those chips are because you don't want to hit them?
Honestly, we had to talk about this a couple weeks ago about how some people set the dice and then and then shake them and throw them and snap
and go.
Yeah. I don't do that. When the dice come to me, I don't care how they come. I pick them up and throw them. That's it. That's all I do every time. Tap them twice, throw them. Just pick them
You
up.
do tap them twice.
I do tap them twice and throw
What's the tap about?
To irritate the boxman.
Okay.
Yeah.
A former job of yours.
Sure. Yeah. Because people used to do it to irritate me.
And when you were a box person, did that really irritate you when the player?
No, you know, it's funny because you get the mentality of like, okay, you're supposed to be there to protect the casino and to protect the casino's assets, but me being a player, it was really, a toss-up for me because at certain times I want the players to win because I'm a player and I like to win. But then there are other times where you have asshole players and you want to take their money just because they're treating the dealers bad, they have a bad attitude, something,
Let's talk about, you brought up a point that I want to discuss only because you've been on the other side of the table. Now,
on the dark side.
The dark side. You've never been a shift manager, is that, or have you been?
Yes.
Okay. Shift managers get bonuses based upon...
At certain casinos. This particular casino that we didn't. But,
okay, but there's on the Strip or in some of the bigger casinos, shift managers get bonuses based upon
the hold.
The hold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when these guys, and it's funny because a lot of times they'll tell you, "Oh, I don't really care if you win or lose." That is complete bullshit.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because the more you lose, the bigger potential of their Christmas bonus and
not many
bonus.
Casinos do that anymore. Even the big corporate MGM. I mean, unless you're like the big boss.
Well, I know station casinos. I have a couple of friends that work there.
Do they still do it?
They get bonuses.
Do they? Okay.
They do get bonuses. So when you hear when you hear from a floor person, it may be legitimate. Maybe he or she is wishing you good luck. But it ain't coming from a shift manager that's on a bonus program.
Well, I worked for Harris Corporation, and no, it's not part of Harris.
No bonuses at Harris?
Nope.
Well, there are some casinos here in town that do give bonuses based upon how much the shift holds. I know, and on top of it, heads, I don't want to say heads roll, but they are looked at very closely if the shift is not holding what it should be holding.
Yeah, what it should be. And it's broken down to an exact scientific number of what it is every shift, what they figure it's supposed to be holding, and right. What it does and what it doesn't. That was one of the cool things about working for Harrah's. If you're in any kind of management capacity, you had access to all the Harrah's numbers worldwide. You can actually look at any casino and see what their hold is, what the percentage hold is, and all that stuff.
And that was available as
management.
Management up, like a floor person.
Not floor person, had to be shift manager.
Or how about a backup shift?
Backup shift, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hey, if anyone wants to call in, it's our number here is 702-476-3306. I know last week we had a
bunch of callers.
And Donna was a great guest, wasn't she?
Actually, she was. She was very informative, and she was fun, and it was great.
Hopefully she's listening in, and she wasn't just a one-shot wonder with us.
No,
she's probably.
She'll probably be back on again soon. But
yeah,
once again, for people that don't understand the way Joe read the number, it's 702-476-3306.
I think they understood me better.
702-476-3306. But at 4 o'clock, coming up at 4 o'clock, we've got Jamie Gold. Yeah.
How impressive is that? Well, you know the right people, don't you?
I tell you.
How did you land this gig?
It's kind of funny, and I'll bring up the story with Jamie because of how we started talking, or how we. I met him at the World Series this year.
Okay.
And it was I was working for the World Series or for ESPN as my particular thing that I was doing that night was I was a spotter. And basically as a spotter, I'm watching certain players, certain high-profile players, to see if they go all in, because then we have to stop the action, get the cameras over so they can get the shot. Because there's a lot of tables. A lot of people don't realize how many tables there are at the World Series. You're watching on TV. How do they get all the good hands? Well, they're not getting all the good hands, but they're trying to get some of the best ones. And so on that particular day,
How many of you were? Well, because a lot of people, you watch a program, and if you ever gone to see a taping of a show, everybody's like, "Wow, I never realized how much that entails." People just see the finished product and
Correct.
do not realize. So, how many people in your capacity were there out on the floor, spotting, so to speak?
well, let's see. You had the Amazon room. Of course, you went to the World Series
Right.
this year. You had the Amazon room. You had 4 different colored sections,
Right.
and then the feature and main table, and then in the what was it?
Was it the Brazilian room?
The Brazilian room. You had 4 more colored areas, and so in each of those colored areas, there's 20, 30, 40 tables.
If not more.
If not more in each of the areas. So you're talking about probably 120 tables, probably 30 in each section. So you've got 120 tables, and in each 30-table section, there might have been 2 spotters.
Okay.
So you've got to keep it out.
So you're not going to get them all, but you're going to get a lot.
No,
of them.
and you've got to keep walking back and forth, and you've got a radio on. So as soon as you see something, if somebody goes all in, you have to stop the dealer and say, okay, hold the deal. Get on the radio, call your camera crew, because then there's in the Brazilian room during most of the regular days from day 1 through day 5, there was only 4 camera crews working total. 4 cameras, and not including the feature table and the second feature table. There's 4 cameras walking around. So I mean, that's not a lot of cameras to cover all that action. So stop. Okay, get a camera crew, run over, get ready.
Because if you're watching it on TV, when you're watching it after it's taped and presented, you don't realize how that goes down because you're thinking, oh, there's a camera at every table.
Yeah, no,
there's not.
Not at all. Not at all. There's not. And so. Anyway, on that particular day that I met Jamie, I was on Jamie Gold and Todd Brunson watch. They were on 2 separate tables, but they were right next to each other. Yeah, close by. So I'm standing there, and they. Thank you, Paul. I'm bringing me some water there. I'm watching them. I lost my train of thought. See, I'm not.
You were on a Jamie Gold, Todd Brunson.
Jamie Gold, Todd Brunson, and so I'm watching for a little while, and there's another player sitting there with Jamie Gold, and he goes, why is this guy from ESPN watching me? I feel like I'm about to get whacked. And Jamie's like, no, he's with ESPN. He's just paying attention. And he explained to him what I was doing.
Right.
And so Jamie Gold was getting a massage, and this other guy was getting a massage, and the other guy says, he's been sitting there for a while. He's been standing there for about 2 hours. And Jamie Gold says, yeah, maybe we got to get him a massage. And so he says, yeah, let's get him a massage. And so I'm like, no, guys, I can't do that. I'm working. And he's like, oh, come on, man. And I said, well, I got to ask my producer. So my producer comes walking up, and I said, hey, Jamie Gold wants to get me a massage. And he goes, no, you can't do that. You're working. And Jamie's like, come on, man, let's get him a massage. He's been there for 2 hours. He's been standing there for 2 hours. And so finally the producer says, okay, let's do it. And sure enough, they call a masseuse over. They got masseuses working on all the tables. And they get me a massage for like an hour.
See,
and
you really did get one.
It pissed off the rest of the crew because the rest of the crew, you've got this camera guy that's carrying a 60-pound camera. They don't realize how big those cameras are. Those cameras are heavy. 60-pound camera. You got the guy carrying the mics. You've got other people doing stuff. And here I am sitting there getting...
Just walking around with a little radio.
Yeah, walking around with a little radio.
Table 63.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a massage. So it was fantastic. And so from that point on, every time, I saw Jamie Gold...
You think of happy endings.
I wanted to see if I could get a happy ending, but apparently they frown upon that in the Amazon room.
If it was the Brazilian room, it might go over.
Possibly, right?
Because South America.
So every day after that, I saw Jamie and I saw the other guy that was playing, and they were running. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, you want another massage?
So this is how the friendship grew.
Exactly, and I wouldn't say we're buddies where I can give Jamie a call and say, hey, how you doing? I mean, I've got a cell number.
No, but when you were working for ESPN, was this radio show? Thought?
It was planned, and we were starting August 1st was our start date on this show. So
okay,
this was right before that.
So you probably said to Jamie, hey, by the way,
Exactly. I've got a radio show. I'd like to have you on as a guest. Okay, here's my number. Here's my email address.
And most of these guys, they're cooperative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of them. Some of them
have you had
so
some?
much.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about non-cooperative poker players.
Eric Lindgren.
Really non-cooperative?
Yeah. Phil Hellmuth. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but pretty much
absolutely. Okay, non-cooperative but pleasant in saying no.
Kind of more like ignoring, turning around, and walking away.
Really?
Antonio Sfandiari. He was nice enough that he said, contact me on Twitter. He said, I'll see if I have time. And that was, but I've tried contacting him a few times and nothing. So, you know.
I know Antonio. I'll give him a buzz. We'll get him on here.
Yeah.
We'll get him in.
I mean, he's one of my favorite players.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And a funny guy, too, by the way.
Yeah. I'd love to have him on. He said, can I do it over the phone or do I have to do it in the studio? I said, no, we can do it over the phone. And he said, okay, well, contact me on Twitter. And I've sent him 3 or 4 messages and no response. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, you know, and I can understand these guys. They get approached a lot.
Well,
for a lot
they
of
do.
different stuff.
I will tell you this. They do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
And
Just like Jamie, we contacted him right when the show started or was getting ready to start.
Weren't able to get him till today.
He said he was going out of the country, which he was gone, and I know because he was twittering about being out of the country. And then he said, "Try me back beginning of September." So I tried him last week, and he's like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Perfect.
Yeah. So he's a man of his word, which is great.
And he should be. I mean, like I said, I've had him on. Kenny and I had him on as a guest, and really nice guy, by the way.
Yeah.
I think he caught a little bit of a bad rap when things went down right after the main event, but everything got worked out. Everything's fine. Everyone is happy.
Well, the other good thing about him is his background before he won the World Series, and he still is. He owns a production company, a TV production company, yeah, and he's a talent scout, and he's a talent agent, and all of that stuff. So I definitely want to pick his brain a little bit about our TV projects as well. So
just another gentleman who took his profession and then stepped into another field and became successful pretty quickly too, and made a name for himself pretty quickly in the poker.
And the most impressive part about that is, he won the 2006 main event with the biggest field ever. So
the biggest prize.
And the biggest
prize, right? Well, 12, I think.
$12.5 million and almost 9,000 players.
Wow.
I mean, so just imagine how hard it was to win with 1,000 players, 2,000 players, or when Chris Moneymaker won it was 894 players, to almost 9,000 players that he had to beat out.
What do you think, like, when the guys when they played in Jamie's year and they went out, like, at 8,000, and now this year I would have won the event.
Yeah.
I finished 1,000 from the top.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, there was only, 65?
6,800.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But it was still the third biggest in history.
Surprisingly, considering that
with
a lot
Black
of the
Friday
internet, the internet money was not there. Now, do you think that there was a lot of seats given away before April 15th, or what is your take on why? Because I know I spoke to Tom McAvoy, and he thought if they hit 5,200, they were doing great.
Yeah. He, from what I understand, is I guess a few years ago, a lot of the poker rooms, online poker rooms, were giving away a lot of seats. But Harrah's made a rule, Harrah's Corporation that owns the World Series of Poker, they made a rule where the rooms could not buy in for the players. They actually had to give the players $10,000, and the player was responsible to go buy in. And of course, most players did do that because that was their dream, was to play the World Series. That's what they were doing. Personally, I would have taken the $10,000 because I think playing the main event.
Well, how did the players get the money? Was put in their account?
Was put in their account, and they had to go
I'm sure a lot of players. Even though you're right, it is every poker player's dream to play the main event, but I'm sure, especially now, based upon the current economy and people losing their jobs, I'm sure there are a lot of players who had the $10,000 plus whatever expense money.
Now, what happens when Nevada Poker League gives away a seat? Have they given away a seat yet?
No, we will not give. We will give away a seat for next year, but we're going to actually take the person down and buy them in. It's the only restriction on this seat is you must play it. It's not transferable.
Okay.
You can't sell it. You have to play it.
So, is Harrah's going to let you actually present the money to them, or do you have to give it to them and stand there and watch them buy it?
I don't know. I don't think Sissy has really made a decision how it's going down, but I'm sure I think the easiest way to do it is that because when the seat is given away, it's going to be in late June of 2012,
okay,
which is going to be
during the actual tournament,
just a couple of days either before the World Series actually starts, I believe, in the last week in May, and the main event starts, I believe, the first week in July, usually around the 2nd or 3rd of July.
Something like that.
I think that the Nevada Poker League is going to have what we call their Grand Championship event, which will award a $10,000 seat to the World Series of Poker. I believe that's going to happen right at the end of June, somewhere June 30th or somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And then whoever wins it, I guess Sissy will meet them down at the cashier's cage and hand them a 10 and watch them buy in.
Yeah.
And the only obligation is to wear a Nevada Poker League shirt saying, something like, I won my seat with the Nevada Poker League. And for those who are listening in, it's not too late to attempt to win your seat. You can play at any of our multiple locations here in town. Go on NevadaPokerLeague.com. List all the bars and restaurants that the games are at. It's free to play, so it costs you nothing. And if you make any final table during this particular season, which runs to, I believe, October 2nd, make any final table, which includes our Battle of the Bars, our Tenacious 50, which takes place on September 17th at Ricardo's Restaurant, one of our newest locations.
I read about that.
Yeah, and you make any of the final tables, either Battle of the Bars, our main event on October 9th, or the Tenacious 50. We will qualify, obviously, 10 people for each final table. Those 30 people, along with 30 people from each of the next 3 seasons after that, will bring those 120 players back. And then if you've played any games in the Nevada Poker League and had a one-table satellite win, which is not really difficult to do, because you can play 7 days a week, for every win that you have, we will put an additional ticket in the drum, and we'll draw 10 names out of people who did not qualify by making a final table, but who qualified by having wins. Whether you have 1 win, 20 wins, 30 wins, 40 wins over the last 4 this season that's going on, then the next 3, you'll have a ticket in the drum based upon the amount of wins. We'll draw 10, and those 120 that qualified by making the final table, along with the 10 wild cards that 130 players will play, and we will give away a $10,000 seat, which, you can, whether there are times where you can win, play a free roll for a $10,000 seat, yes, but you're probably playing against 10,000 players.
Yeah.
They weren't giving away a $10,000 seat with only 130 players.
Correct.
So the Nevada Poker League, as far as I know, is the only place ever to give away a
with
seat
that easy of a
with
free
that
roll.
easy of a, as far as amount of the least amount of plays possible to beat. I mean.
And then I remember reading somewhere on your on the site about Ricardo's that they'll comp your food if you're playing their slots while you're there.
Yeah, actually, there was a little bit of a miscommunication. Ricardo's, which is located on Flamingo in Decatur, is one of our newest locations. It's on Sunday nights. They give away 2 paid Tuscany seats every Sunday night. So if you're one of the top 2 point earners in the first 3 games.
Tuscany Casino?
Tuscany Casino has a Monday night tournament for $45. Which usually has a first place prize of a little bit over $1,000.
Yeah. The
Nevada Poker League will buy you into that tournament any Monday night that you want. It doesn't have to be the following Monday. Any Monday night during the season that you want it, we'll buy you in. At Ricardo's on Sunday night, we give away 2. And on top of that, if you're playing what we call substantial slot play on their machines, they will comp your dinner for you.
Well.
So if substantial is, and I got a kind of interpretation from the owner, Bob. You put $100 in a machine and you play 5 coins, 5 quarters. You don't have to lose the 100. But if he sees you load the machine up with 100 and you play 5 coins and you give them some substantial play, they're going to comp you dinner.
And I understand. I've never eaten there, but I've heard they have pretty good food.
Excellent. I mean, I've been there 3 times. I've eaten. I'm a fajita kind of guy, and the fajitas.
I make homemade fajitas.
Oh, do you really?
And homemade flour tortillas.
Wow, and the fajitas are excellent. Sissy has some sort of appetizer. We had Sissy's family was in town, has been since last Saturday. So we all went out to dinner. We got there a little bit early, and we all sat down. Everybody had different dishes, and they were all pretty good dishes. I mean, the food there is great, and it's a great atmosphere. It's a nice Mexican restaurant, and you promised you were coming.
I
but
did.
I must have missed you.
I promised I was coming?
You said I saw you say, I'll be there. You quoted on Facebook that you would be at Ricardo's, but instead you went to California.
Well, maybe I'll be there this Sunday. Or wait, you're not going to be there this Sunday.
I think I might.
Are you?
We're not going when we go to Mesquite.
Yeah.
I think we're not leaving till Monday.
Oh, okay. So the big honeymoon. Okay. Well then
the big honeymoon.
Then I will be there Sunday.
Is that a promise? If you tell me you're coming on Sunday, I might.
It is an absolute promise. No, I will try to be there. But if I'm there, what now? What'd you say? If I say I'm going to be there,
I will make it a point to be there myself.
You will make it a point to be there.
Because I was gonna it's like I'm married one day. Hey, honey. I'm going to Ricardo's. I don't know how well that's going to go over,
I will make it. What time does it start?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. I
First
will be
game
there.
is 6, second game is 7:30.
So if you're watching and listening, you can actually meet Joe and I
Yes.
live and in person. At
And
Ricardo's.
if you have a good enough story, we might bring you on.
There you go. It's got to be a really good story, though.
Really good story.
Yeah. By the way, last night went and played the. I didn't play, but went to Santa Fe, and Anthony Muley, he played the 7:00 tournament
At Santa Fe?
at the Santa Fe, finished second place.
What kind of buy-in is that?
$70. It's $50, and then with a $20 optional rebuy. And
No add-ons, just one rebuy?
or the add-on. I'm sorry.
Add-on. I was
$20
going to say, no rebuy, just an optional
Correct.
add-on.
Yeah, correct. And made it to second place, and he got robbed at the end. He was leading all the way, and the guy rivered a flush. So congratulations to him. That was pretty good.
Very good.
He's actually a pretty decent player. I kind of call him a calling station because he does a lot, but he's a solid player.
So in other words, you're trying to say if you get involved in a game with Anthony, don't try to bluff him because he'll call you down?
Yeah, pretty much. But once again, he's not very aggressive. He's a calling station, but still he has good skills. So,
What do we know what his favorite hand is?
King Jack. Yeah, 'cause,
Okay,
yeah.
that's a little bit better than Jack 5.
A little bit better.
He
but,
can make it straight with that.
One of the hands, they were three-handed. He had
Do
King
you remember
Jack.
that he lost to a flush, but do you remember what he got his money in on?
Absolutely. But this one hand, because
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about King Jack, he had King Jack three-handed. He wasn't in the blind. He was on the button. So King Jack came. He called. The flop was King Ace, and he immediately bet. Check, and he bet, and so they immediately folded. I mean,
Let's go back. You and I three-handed.
Okay.
You're on the button with King Jack.
Okay.
You raising?
Am I raising with King Jack three-handed? Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He didn't.
No.
But it turned out to be the right play.
He basically took the blinds down on that. Now, the last hand that he had, this was the last hand he had. He had 6-9 of spades. Flop comes 2 clubs with a 9-8. He was on a straight flush draw. He needed. He was on a straight
You said
flush draw. Two clubs and a spade. Turn was a spade, so it made a straight
Okay.
flush draw, inside straight flush draw, and so he had the spade draw, the straight flush draw, and a straight draw, all 3. And the guy had ace queen of clubs,
Obviously.
and hit a club.
Flop
over.
2 clubs and
Flop 2 clubs.
he was the favorite at that point.
Well,
until the turn came, then right?
Until the turn came, and then he rivered. Yeah.
Yeah. Ouch.
But
what did second place pay? Do you remember?
Second place was 270
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Would they have about 40 players?
Usually, I think there's only 2 tables.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just 2 tables.
And what time is this tournament
7
start?
o'clock. 7
Every
o'clock.
night?
Every night. Yeah. Yeah, it's a decent tournament. I played a couple times. I've never cashed
I'm
in.
surprised they're only getting 2 tables. I thought they would get a bigger turnout.
It's Santa Fe. I mean, it's way out there,
Yeah, but there's still a good. I mean, this town's a pretty big town. There's a lot of people that play out on that side of town.
I've never seen more than 2 tables, and he was an alternate, and I actually...
Wow, he was an alternate.
Yeah, because I gave up. We were both signed up for alternates, and they had me first. And I said, and they called, and I was like, no, go ahead and give it to him. And I went and played Pai-Gow. And
did you win at least 270?
I actually won a lot more, actually, and I actually made some money on the game last night. Packers and...
I didn't see the game. I was playing hockey, but from what I understand, it went right down to the last play.
I didn't see the rest of the game. Here's why. Usually when I make a bet, I don't even watch the game. I just wait for the outcome. I'm not a big sports fan, period. And so I just wait for the outcome. I went to go make the bet, and for some reason Santa Fe couldn't take a bet on the whole game. They could only take a bet on the first half. Something with the computer system. Something.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, something with the computer system or something. So
I wonder if that was for the entire Station Casino, because
I don't
they must
know.
have lost a lot of money.
If they did that, yeah. So I bet. I knew I wanted to bet Packers in the over, and it was Packers -5. The over was 48.5. And so, like I said, it was just the half. So I went and took Packers in the over at -3 and 24.
Well, you would have been nervous if you watched the game.
Well, no, I the first quarter they were leading. I was like, okay, great, no problem. So we go back. We'd had dinner, and we go back and we're watching it. And right before the half ended, the Saints scored twice and got it up to within 4. And I got a little nervous there.
So I was playing hockey, but I played a middle on the game. I don't know if you know what middles are. I laid 4 and took 5. So I was hoping that Green Bay either won by 4 or won by 5.
Yeah.
I was going to buy the extra half a point up to 5.5 and be able to win both sides, but so I basically didn't play a middle. I had what they call playing sides. I had both teams. I went with one side. I bet the Packers laying 4, and the other side I took New Orleans plus the 5, hoping that the game, and it was right on the number a couple. I mean, I was playing hockey, but I had heard that it was right on the number a number of times. So
Now, when you bet, did you make a big bet? What's your normal bet?
no, I played like $200 on each side. No, not a big. Just,
I just put $100 on that, so I made $249 profit. $249.95.
I always look for an edge.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think people that only have or only use one place to bet are doing themselves a complete injustice, because the lines today are so sharp that most games, the last night didn't, but it was right there, most games are going to fall real close to where the line is supposed to be. So if you can find a sports book that hasn't moved their line accordingly, and it doesn't happen often because everyone's kind of, with the internet now, even though there's so much more information, everyone's kind of connected. If you can find a game where you're laying 3 and taking 4, and those are key numbers, 3s, 4s, 6s and 7s, 5s and 6s, 4s and 5s. You can find a game where you can get both sides with those numbers. Do yourself a favor. You still have action on the game.
Yeah.
And if you lose, all you're gonna lose. You bet 200. What are you gonna lose? 220.
220. Yeah.
So all you're gonna lose is $20.
$20 because you're middling. Yeah.
Yeah, with the chance of winning either 2 400. I know we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, we got to take a break because when we come back, Jamie Gold should be calling in. So let's take a little break. We'll be back. Vegas Banner, TLVS1.com.
TLVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. More talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on TLVS1.com. The Vegas station.
This isn't silence. It's nothing. Every year, 1 million families lose their homes to foreclosure because they do nothing. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, do something. Call 1-888-995-HOPE. That's 1-888-995-4673. Because nothing is worse than doing nothing. A public service announcement brought to you by NeighborWorks, the ad counselor in this station.
Wasted days and wasted nights I have left for you behind, for you don't belong to me. Your heart belongs to someone else. Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're the blame for making me blue? Don't you remember the day that you went away and left me? I was so lonely, prayed for you only, my love. Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're the blame for making me blue? I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're the blame for making me blue?
TLVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. For talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on TLVS1.com. The Vegas station.
It's TLVS1.com, the Vegas Banner Show. Mark Hernandez along with Mr. Joe Payne from the House of Pain. How's that for a classic song there, Joe?
You know, I was just going to say, normally you play upbeat music, Elvis, music you can tap you.
Our producer, Paul, he complained that for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the show that I was playing the same songs every time. So I said, let's go different. And I don't think you get much different than that.
But I also understand you're related to this
Correct.
person.
Mr. Freddie Fender was my dad's 5th cousin, so I guess I would make him my 6th cousin. He's passed away, of course, a few years ago. But yeah, he lived in Corpus Christi, Texas most of his life, and I was born very close to there. So.
A song that you can actually hear the words to, as opposed to today, you have to listen to a song like 3 or 4 times and go, what did he say?
What did he say? Yeah.
Because they're rapping this and they're doing that, and they're beeping and bopping and bumping, whatever it is.
Well, you can understand the words for our theme song. This is, classic Elvis right here.
Hey, baby.
All right, so
we have Jamie's coming on very shortly.
Yeah, Jamie Gold is.
When we say very shortly, we actually mean today, though, right? Okay, so I want to clarify that because we said coming on shortly. It's like today is.
He'll be on sometime in the future. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Jamie Gold will be on. Also, a little sad news, but I do want to make a little announcement to.
Sad news? What? I'm getting married?
No, this is actually real sad news. That's sad news for Sissy, but no. A good friend of mine, John Edwards, he lives in Denton, Texas, just outside of Dallas. He works at the WinStar Casino, so he's a poker dealer, and we've been really good friends for a long time. His dad passed away just a few minutes ago.
Really?
So, yeah, probably about 2 hours ago.
Was it this coming? Was he?
Yeah, he'd been pretty bad. He was in a hospice for a while, and finally he fell a couple of days ago and broke his hip and broke his leg.
How old of a gentleman did we know?
He was in his 80s.
Yeah. When you fall, when you get like 70 and above and you fall.
Yeah, and they didn't think he'd survive an operation, so they put him on a lot of morphine and painkillers, and yeah, he finally passed.
So when do you think I should stop playing hockey, considering that I'm getting up in age and?
What are you?
Because I don't want to die.
You're in your late 70s, early 80s. What are you right now?
Right now, I feel like 80. I mean, we do the show on Fridays. I play hockey on Thursday nights. Sissy gives me some of her pain medication on Thursday nights when I get home. That's how I'm able to get up out of bed on Fridays.
Wait a minute, isn't that illegal, Joe? And you were a cop?
No, it's not illegal. She doesn't administer it to me. She takes it out for herself. She leaves it on the bathroom counter.
And so you steal it.
I take it, and then she goes, I could have sworn I put this. No.
But wait a minute. You are breaking the law because you're stealing it.
No, I'm not stealing it. It's a prescribed medication.
But it's not prescribed for you.
Oh, it's prescribed for someone in pain.
But it's not prescribed for you, Joe.
But I'm in pain, so I think it's...
Well, yeah, but still. I
mean I could go to the doctor and say...
just say no, Come on. I'm just kidding. I love the pain medication myself, but not only when I'm in pain, of course, folks. Yeah.
That would be 724, 24/7?
TLVS1 cares. All right, so... so California this last weekend. Okay, so after the Oceana Casino and blackjack there, decided for sure I'm not going to play here anymore, and I didn't. I didn't go back and play blackjack again. I went home and they had a nice dinner again. The next day I was bored again, so I decided, okay, this time I'm going to go back to the first casino that just has poker and play a little hold'em. California rules on poker are strange too, more so than here in Vegas.
How's that?
Well, I went in, and it was a 3-6 game, which and they had a seat open. They had a 3-6, and they had an Omaha game. Didn't want to play the high-low Omaha, so played the 3-6. But it was 3-6 or 4-8, up to the big blind.
So the big blind determines what the limit is?
Correct.
So whatever he puts out as the blind?
If he puts out $3, then it's $3-6. If he puts out $4, then it's 4-8.
What you're thinking here?
And they had a kill too. So it could have been, it was 6-12 or 8-16.
If I'm going to be able to up the stakes, I want to up the stakes when I'm on the button, not when I'm out of position.
Well, you don't have the choice when you're on the button, though.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking I'm playing for as little as I can when I'm in a bad position.
Well, I was, and I started running actually pretty well when I
Here
started.
we go. We're running.
Well, first
Did you have
hand,
your sneakers on?
All right, first hand, Jack 5.
Running
No.
pretty good.
First hand, pocket sevens, $6 to call. I called, didn't flop anything, so I folded. Good. I didn't try to chase with sevens, but I think a couple of hands in, I get pocket queens, flop a set, and actually had action all the way down.
And won?
And won. So I was doing pretty good. Finally, the last hand, the ugly hand, big blind decides to make it 4-8, but it was also he had also won the pot 2 pots before, so it was a kill pot. So it was actually 8-16, and so he puts out $8 for the big blind, and so it made it an 8-16 game. I get pocket queens again. Flop comes queen king 3. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I bet there's 4 callers. He re-raises, the guy that was on the big blind. He re-raises. I re-raise him. We lose the other we lose the other players. He calls. The turn is
stop. Okay, you raise. He raises. You call. What kind of hand? What kind of range are you putting him on there?
Ace king, maybe.
2 pairs, maybe.
2 pair, maybe. King queen.
Did you consider when he re-raised you? Did you just smooth call behind him because you're out of position, or you're interested in finding out how strong of a? Did you think about playing back at him to find out maybe we can shut this down right now?
It's a limit game.
Oh, it's a limit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's 8-16.
Okay, did you still even re-raising him?
Yeah. So I re-raised him once, and then he re-raised me, and he called.
And so you called. You just smooth called the re-raise.
Smooth call it just a call. It's a limit game. So smooth call.
But you had the option.
I had the option to re-raise one more time, but I didn't.
Did not.
No, I did not.
Did not come into your.
No. So flop king queen 3, turn 3. So now I've got queens full. I bet he re-raised. That's Jamie Gold calling. I raised. He re-raised. Since we're heads up, we can go all in.
Right.
So we pretty much did.
Well, not all in, but there's
unlimited raises. So we did that, and I should have known after that. But I mean, what am I going to do with the hand? I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And so I end up calling, and he turns over pocket kings for kings full. So we both flopped sets, and I second set, queens full. I had queens full of 3s. He had kings full of 3s.
Now, if you were Jamie Gold, would you say when you flopped it, I got middle set?
I wasn't going anywhere.
No, I mean, we got Jamie coming on the air. We're going to talk to him about talking about his hand.
When you're WSOP world champ, Jamie Gold, I don't think even Jamie could have gotten away from that hand.
No, usually if you flop a set, and if you don't win,
turn a boat.
And turn a boat, yeah, you're losing some money there.
Yeah. Speaking of Jamie Gold, I think we got Jamie on the line. Jamie.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. We were actually just talking about a hand I was playing in California this weekend. Which you live in California. This was a small limit game in Grover Beach, California, where I ended up flopping a set of queens versus a set of kings, and there was just no way I think I could get away from that hand. And when we're
well, before we even get Jamie's input on that, I think if once you raised, he raised you, re-raised you, if you would have popped him back, and he called or re-raised you back, then you got to consider maybe he did have pocket kings and flopped set over set on you.
Still, but would you have gotten away from that hand?
No, you can't. But
the point is, get away from that hand.
But you would have had a little clearer picture of what was going on.
I would have just known in advance that I was going to lose my ass. Is that it?
Because when you got to the river, you thought you were good.
No, I kind of didn't. After the turn,
because you were running bad, right?
Well, no, because after the turn, when it was heads up and we just unlimited raises all in, then we turned over our cards, and I saw I had lost before the river, so it didn't really matter.
Well, let's get back to Jamie, because he's our honored guest today.
Thank you for calling in, Jamie. How are you?
Uh-oh. Bad connection.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, barely.
Oh, do we have a bad connection, or?
It's the volume. I have the volume on my phone all the way up, but I can barely hear you.
Okay. We can hear you now. Good, Jamie.
We can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Thanks for calling in, Jamie. I know you're a busy guy, but we've been wanting to get you on for a little while, and I know you were doing some traveling here in the last couple months, but and you were here in Vegas last week for the Epic Poker League, correct?
I was, yeah. I was there on business, and I also got to play in the Epic Pro-Am, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very small field, but it was a very well-run tournament.
And how did you end up doing in that?
I busted out in the first hour.
The first hour. Nice.
Mhm.
That's about 59 minutes longer than I usually last in a tournament like that.
But I did cash the week before in the Legends, so I felt like, that's my hometown casino, the Bicycle, and the Legends of Poker is, one of the biggest, or at least most prestigious events in the world, and an extremely tough field. I mean, it was incredible. There were only 800 entries, but the field was amazing how tough it was.
I was actually there for a couple of days during the Legends. I didn't actually play in the event. I was playing in a couple of satellites, but yeah, anybody was there, and you cashed
Yeah,
it.
I came in I think 65th, something like that, out of 800. But it's not really the number. It's that I had a really good shot to go all the way. And a few things happened, kind of like your situation. I would have been chip leader after flopping a set of tens. It turns out the guy flopped a set of kings.
Oh,
wow.
But what can you do in that situation? You're not going to give it up. I mean,
well,
can you?
It's funny. I actually called it and said that I know you flopped a set of kings, but what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? It was a really tough situation. If there's enough money involved, I can get away from that hand, but he didn't have me covered, so it wasn't even a possibility that I was getting away from that hand. Also, it was a dead board, so it wasn't, it wasn't like he could have flopped a straight. I flopped a second nut, so if you flop a king high flush, somebody flops an ace high flush, you're going broke.
Yeah,
that's
True.
pretty much the way it goes. In a cash game, though, let's say I have $1 million behind, and I'm only in for $100,000. I can actually get away from that hand in certain situations. There are players where there's no chance that when they know that I have, at the very minimum, top two, because it becomes king 10-4. They know that I'm not playing, the worst hand I could have in that situation is a pair of fours, maybe king 10.
Okay.
But they know that if they're coming over me, they have to have better than king 10 or a pair of fours. And I have the pair of 10. So there are certain situations where if somebody puts in their $1 million, I know that there's when they raise and they re-raise me pre-flop, there's no other hand they're going to have but a set of kings.
So
I can get away from the hand in extreme situations with the largest amount of money you could imagine. But otherwise,
you're just going to get your ass whooped.
Yeah. I mean, in the original Super System that Doyle Brunson wrote, there are certain hands that you just have to go broke. And you just have to understand that that's part of poker. You're going to go broke. No matter how well you play, no matter what happens, you're going broke.
Now, how long have you actually been playing poker, Jamie? I mean, I know 2006, the main event, but how long before
I'm having
that?
a hard time hearing you again. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Barely. I'm not sure why. It's the volume. It's not the connection.
Huh. We've got it turned up here, but can
all right, that's a little better.
All right. How long have you actually been playing poker? I mean, before
now
2006.
I'm losing you.
You're losing me again. Maybe we can.
Let me try it on my mic. Hey, Jamie, the question that we had for you was how long before you won the main event in 2006? How long were you playing poker for?
I've been playing poker my whole life. My mom believes that I was playing well from about the age of 3, but that's my mom.
A little biased.
Yeah, a little biased, but she does tell a very cute story that's of how and this is true, of how I learned to count. My grandfather was a master gin rummy player, and he would play every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I grew up with my grandparents in my same home with my mom. I felt that very lucky. I didn't feel like it was because we didn't have any money. I felt like how lucky I am. How cool is it that I'm growing up with my grandparents? So it was really fun, and I would sit on my grandfather's lap, and that's the first game I learned how to play was gin rummy. But I actually learned how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, 8.
That's funny. I've never heard anyone say that, but that's funny.
And And that is the truth. And because my mom's been telling that story, I remember since I'm 5 years old, she would tell it, when he was 2, so I've had to hear that stupid story my whole life, so I'm pretty sure that's true. But I don't know that I was necessarily a good poker player when I was 3. I realized that I was a good gin player when I was 3 because I was sitting on his lap every, 3 days a week for 3 years already. And as we're sponges when we're that young, I think we're a little smarter than we are when we're adults when we're that young, especially for technical things like that. And so I've been playing poker my whole life, but I didn't start playing Texas Hold'em until I saw Rounders. And Rounders got me that I could not believe that somebody could win $1 million playing in something called the World Series of Poker. I didn't even know that it existed, that there's such a thing as the best poker player in the world. You can go to Vegas and win $1 million. I had no idea. So after I saw Rounders, I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and she said, well, you go and play in these all the time, and you seem to be crushing. All your friends get very upset because you leave every week. So, yeah.
We're losing the signal again, Jamie. Are you there?
I think we might have lost him.
Jamie? I think we lost Jamie. He's probably going to have to call back.
Call back.
Yeah, we lost him. It was
in the middle of telling. Hold on.
We've got a dial tone. Can you turn down the phone, Paul? Can you turn down the phone? It's a dial tone.
You lost? Yes, we lost the call.
Yeah, he should be calling back right now. Hopefully. Well, he was talking about his story of
I like
World Series.
The counting story is great.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 10. Jack, Queen, King, Ace.
Is that him calling back there? Hopefully. Yes.
Cell phone? Yeah.
We'll try it while he's setting that up.
Okay, cool, man. Hold on.
All right, I think he's got him back on. We have him back up.
I'm back.
All right, there you are. All right.
So what part of this way too long answer?
No, please. I love the story. So you found out after watching Rounders that you can win $1 million. So you were living with your girlfriend.
Right.
That was the last thing.
And my girlfriend was convincing me that she's like, listen, if you can beat your friends every week, it was so weird. I was never losing. And in poker now, looking back at it, my friends had to be so bad that I would never lose over a night. And so, for whatever reason, I guess my friends didn't even understand the rules. We would get together and play poker. I at least understood what the rules were. And my friends would sometimes turn over their cards and they'd say, so do I have a flush? No, you got 4 spades. That's not a flush. So I guess, look who I'm beating. So I was not very impressed with myself as a poker player at all. But what I did realize is that I had a lot to learn, and I started going to all the local casinos, the Bicycle, the Hustler, all the local casinos in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that a large group of the best poker players in the world were playing in those casinos. And I guess, I've made a decent amount of money in my life, and so I didn't sit down at the 1-2 game. I sat down at the biggest game they had in the casino because I would bring like $10 grand with me,
wow.
And I figured that was a small amount of money. I didn't realize that's actually a lot of money when you don't know how to play the game. And I would sit in the biggest game they had, and I would sit with a guy who would wear this cowboy hat with the long hair. It turned out to be Chris Ferguson.
Oh, wow.
I would sit with this guy, who turned out to be Barry Greenstein.
Now, what kind of limits were these? What limits were you playing?
It was the biggest game in the house. It's the biggest limit. I said, I want to play the game as they play in Rounders.
Okay. But what limits were they playing?
They were playing, it was always 10, 20, 20, 40.
10, 20, 20, 40.
That's a big game.
Yeah, no limit. That's a decent game, yeah.
And it's a big game against some pretty good players, Jamie. How did you do in that game? Did you hold your own?
No, not even close. No, I got crushed for, let's say, the first, month. And so after I lost probably about $50,000, I realized that there's something that I'm not being told of what's going on here. And so I started reading books. And one person, was really kind to me, and it was not anybody that anyone would recognize. He's actually, his name is Jeff Grau. He's actually LAPD now. He told me, like, listen, here are the books that you need to read. Here's the order that you should read them in. Here's how you need to develop yourself. And once I read one book and realized, oh my God, there's so many things I don't know about this game. And then I read every single book I could get my hands on. And I started actually becoming a pretty decent player. And then, I was winning half the time, losing half the time. But, I was somewhat of a break-even cash game player, which I didn't also realize how lucky I was getting. That I was putting, every time I had a flush draw, I'm putting all my money in, no matter what.
Right.
And so I realized, how bad I was playing years later, but at least, my luck was running pretty well, and I had a pretty good sense on how to read players. And that's really where I got, where most of my skill lies. We're all born with certain innate skills, and I have a pretty decent skill on how to read people when we're live. And so I would usually know what cards people were holding if I would watch them play for an hour. And that skill has obviously stayed with me and been a great part of, the reason why I've done okay. But all of a sudden, after Chris Moneymaker won, and it became a worldwide TV phenomenon, this game, I realized that poker players were going to become celebrities. And at the time, I was representing celebrities. And I wanted to represent Johnny Chan and Chris Moneymaker. And so what I ended up doing is I made a deal with Johnny Chan that I would sell a book and a television show for him, and it was a show that him and Chris Moneymaker were both going to be in, and create a poker school for them. And in return, he had to put me on the right path to become, in my vision, the best poker player that I could possibly be, which if I could ever get near Johnny Chan, I felt at that time I could be the best poker player in the world. It turned out very quickly that I realized I was never going to be the best poker player in the world, but I had a great shot at being the best poker player that I could be just by training with him. And what he allowed me to do, he didn't actually physically teach me specific things. He allowed me to watch him play, which was a pretty huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I could ask him questions. And he realized that, all of a sudden I was creating my own style of talking people in and out of their hands, and I was starting to win. At that time they weren't keeping great records. Like every time you win a tournament, it's online. Any major tournament, any decent run professional tournament. But I was winning at the Hustler and the Bike. I was winning these weekly tournaments, and they only had maybe 300 to 500 people in them. But I was winning them consistently. I think I won 11 of them in 6 months. And coming in first in any tournament 11 times in 6 months, is not an easy task.
No, that's fantastic, yeah.
And so it was amazing. And so I have all these little trophies in my house, and I was really proud of myself. And I felt like, wow, I want to go try to play at the World Series. And so I won this one tournament at the Bike for $54,000, and I took that money and rolled it into the World Series. But I didn't think I was ready to play the main event. So then I spent a good year traveling and watching all of the professionals and getting advice from people and watching Johnny Chan play, and I started doing really, really well in some of these, smaller tournaments around LA, and that's when Johnny convinced me that you got to go and play the main event at the World Series. And that he also had, he said that there's this company, Bodog, that will buy you in if you're in Hollywood. If you're either a celebrity or an executive that can play well enough, if they think you have a chance. And Johnny told him that he thinks not only do I have a chance, he thinks I'm going to win the main event. It was the right place at the right time. That nobody had ever seen anyone play like that before. I don't believe that that's true, but at least it was in my head that nobody had ever really psychologically talked people in and out of their hands in tournaments before. And so he convinced me to go. And Bodog brought me in, and so I had a free buy-in. And, of course, I did promise somebody that I would give them half, not for doing anything for me. They did me a little favor on the side, but people have the misconception that I was bought in by somebody and I didn't pay my backer or some kind of bullshit, which was not the case at all. Bodog brought me in. That's why I was wearing Bodog from day one. And I did promise someone, which I did give them half minus taxes, because I had to pay taxes on the whole thing. And he was from the UK, and he didn't want to pay his taxes after I won. So he ended up suing me. Instantly, we went to an arbitrator, and they said, "You're insane. You're not going to win. Take the money that Jamie's giving you." And we're not allowed to say what the settlement was, but it wasn't exactly what he thought, that it was going to be, because, he ended up causing me a lot of stress and a lot of bullshit. And so I offered him half minus taxes. He didn't want to pay his taxes, so everybody got the idea that I'm trying not to pay somebody. I was just trying not to pay his taxes for him.
Which is not.
It was a really simple thing, and it got totally misconstrued, and people told all kinds of weird rumors, and that I didn't pay my backer. And so I like to get that clear every time I do an interview from now on. I feel like people just need to know the truth. And if you do your homework, if you really care, if you're a journalist and you want to write a story about it, try looking up the facts before you write a story that isn't true about me.
And yeah,
if you look up the facts, it's pretty simple. It's all documented. He was from the UK, and they don't have to pay taxes on gambling earnings there, at least in 2006. The problem was he didn't win. I did. So I had to pay taxes on the whole thing. So he got half after taxes, which is all that anybody should ever get, especially when they don't deserve half in the first place. It was just a gift. And then he turned out to be a real, greedy asshole, and he didn't deserve anything, but he's lucky for what he got.
Well, and that's something that it's true. If you were going to investigate that story, the hard part is because there were so many rumors about that story, and I didn't even know the true story, and I tried researching it. Is all you can find is just the rumors. You can't find the true story, and it makes it hard
because
because
you really want to, you can, because the court documents are all available to the public.
And why was he getting a percentage anyway? Can you tell what he actually did for you?
Bodog was giving away seats to any celebrities, and so he said, "Oh my God, they gave you a seat?" I said, "Yeah, they gave me a seat because Johnny Chan convinced them." I was a well-known guy in Hollywood. I wasn't famous to the public, but everybody in Hollywood knew who I was because I represented such famous people. So everybody in Hollywood knew that I was maybe the best poker player in our little circle. And that and Johnny Chan convinced everybody that I had the legitimate shot at actually winning the World Series of Poker. So Bodog said, "We want you on our team." Then they said, "Please help us get more celebrities." So I called all my clients, guys like Gandolfini don't even play poker. My other clients were either working or not available or not interested. So this guy was somebody who's coaching guys like Matthew McConaughey and Matthew Perry and all these legitimate celebrities. He was like the celebrity poker coach. And he said, "Can I get a buy-in if I get any of these guys to come?" And I said, "They told me that if you get 2 legitimate celebrities, they'll give you a buy-in." Well, he ended up getting at that time 2 what they were calling non-celebrities, which were at the time who are now celebrities, Dax Shepard and Matthew Lillard. And I thought those were great guys. But Bodog said, "We don't know who these guys are. We'll give them buy-ins, but we're not giving your guy anything." So he kept complaining and crying and begging me and this and that because he was broke. And he needed the money, and I said, "You know what? Stop bothering me. I'll give you half of whatever I win. Is that good enough for you?" He said, "Oh my God, that's great." So of course, then I got close to winning, and he started hounding me for an advance on the money and to write him a contract and this and that. And I said, "I'll leave you a voicemail that says that you're going to get your money. I have no problem giving you half the money." And he said, "But you said half. You didn't say half minus taxes." I said, "Are you an idiot? If I give you half before taxes, I get nothing. You think I deserve nothing? Well, I don't care about you." He just turned out to be such a scumbag.
Wow.
So I'm sorry for the language, but he's just a lowlife. And I at one point I thought, you know what, we'll probably become friends again. I could never be friends with this guy. He's just such a greedy asshole, and I have no problem speaking badly about him because he's just a horrible human being.
Wow. Yeah, I was guessing you probably wouldn't.
I mean, one of my friends truly wanted to kill him. I don't mean hurt him. I mean bury him in the ground.
Wow.
And I wouldn't let him do it because I can't have that on my conscience. But he's lucky that he's still living because my friends really wanted to kill him.
Wow.
And Jamie, while you were going through all this, if my memory is correct, your dad was very, very ill at the time, too.
Yeah, there's another thing. I got a really bad rap for disappearing on the poker community because they felt that I owed them some, being an ambassador, as if I haven't done enough. I've raised more money than I could possibly imagine raising for the poker community, but I still get a lot of shit from people because I disappeared for 6 months. Again, they don't do their homework. My father had ALS. He had 6 months to live. I chose to spend the last 6 months of his life with him as opposed to going on the poker tour.
Right,
if anybody feels like I made a mistake, you come talk to me and explain why I made that mistake.
Jamie, you should be commended for that. My father passed away, so I'm
sorry for you too, but I don't feel like I deserve to be commended. I just feel like I don't deserve to be lambasted. I don't deserve to be put down for being a bad ambassador. Some people just have nothing better to talk about than to create lies about people. It's really sad. But a lot of people haven't been out of their mother's basement in 22 years, and I feel bad for them. And they're sitting on the computer. They need to get a little social, interaction and
Exactly.
understand that you don't have to just sit on your computer and talk badly about people in your little forums. Try being a human being of the world and do something with your life and then talk about other people.
And if you read some of the, and I'm going to call it absolute bullshit that's on 2+2 about everybody, not just Jamie, but I mean, people are jealous, and Jamie, and I think you realize that the higher you stand on the mountain, the more rocks are thrown at you. I don't know if you remember, you were on a show with me that Kenny Einiger and I hosted back in Canada.
Absolutely, I loved it.
Right, and you were
a great show.
Yeah, we were honored to have you then, and we're honored to have you now. And I don't know, I know you weren't probably listening in the first hour. Mark and I were talking, and I wanted to ask you this question. I wanted to know if you remember how this all came about. You talking about the hands, and you actually just mentioned it about how you were talking people off the hands, on the hands, getting to fold, getting to call you. Was this something that just kind of grew and became its own life while the tournament was going on, or was this something that you had kind of in your arsenal of poker tools that you knew you were going to use during the main event?
This was an absolutely created system that I had. I knew that very confidently that I was not the best poker player in the world. So I had to come up with some other way that I could ensure myself of beating 9,000 people. And so I came up with a psychological system to talk people in and out of their hands that people just hadn't really experienced a lot of yet. So I felt like I was doing something a little bit new, a little bit different. I'm sure other people had been doing it. I just had never seen it myself before. And for some reason or another, the group of people who were a large group of the best poker players in the world in L.A. were falling for it. And were being beaten by me in these little tournaments. So I figured if I can beat somebody in a little tournament, why can't I beat them in a big tournament?
I mean,
and it actually worked.
You kind of created top. Nobody ever said. I never heard anybody say top until you came along, and now you still hear it. You're in poker rooms now, and you hear, "Hey, I got top."
People like to make fun of you about that, and I do kind of. Look, I've done a lot of things that I'm not necessarily super proud of. I do not believe that I did anything that was cheating or illegal, like some people claim. But I do believe that I did some things that I wish I didn't say. I asked Paul if he had the balls to call me. I shouldn't have said that. But look, I was also my first main event.
Right.
I am making excuses. There are excuses. I got all caught up in the heat in the moment. I'm not a perfect person. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I try to be a better person every day. I try to do the best I can for the world and for myself. And the people around me and my family, my friends, all seem to feel like I'm a pretty good human being. And so I feel like I'm doing the best I can. I'm not always perfect. I say some things I wish I hadn't said. They're going to live forever on the internet so people can make fun of me. I make fun of myself, too. You should have no problem people making fun of me.
Right.
I don't like people telling lies about me, but there's not a lot that I can do about it, so I don't worry about it a lot.
Right. I think how you went about it and what you said was brilliant, because even watching it on TV, and even though we had the ability to know what you had, if you kind of like put your hand on the TV screen and not know what hand you actually were possessing at that point, the manner of how you went about talking to these players, to me, was masterful. It was just like you just kind of got inside their heads.
See what really happened. Unfortunately, on television, you don't get any of it.
Right. Well, we got a little bit of it.
Really quick clips. You should see some of these hands took 20 minutes. I mean, don't forget, there was $12 million on the line. They didn't go in 5 seconds like they showed you on television.
Right.
Some of these hands, I really did work really hard to win. And of course I got very lucky. You know how I got lucky? The best way I got lucky was that I didn't get unlucky.
Right.
Because I would go in with the best hand 90% of the time, and I didn't get unlucky, which is getting really lucky.
Right.
So, even though you own all these magical 10 hands on television, and I probably played, 1,000 hands, 2,000 hands, whatever the number is, I still don't feel like I was, completely just sitting around getting the nuts every single hand like a lot of people love to explain it to me. I get stopped on the street all the time. You just sat there and got the nuts every single hand. I said, thank you very much. You're absolutely right. You obviously play a lot of poker because you understand that everything you saw on television was exactly the way that it happened.
People don't realize you probably only see about 3 to 5% of the hands that are actually played.
If even not even that.
Oh, no,
not
you
even that
don't even
much.
see that. You
No.
don't even see 1%.
No, not even 1%. Yeah.
1%.
No.
Yeah, people don't understand that.
Now, so you were responsible for what they call the Jamie Gold rule. Is that right?
I do believe that I am responsible for that rule. Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think they call it the Jamie Gold rule. But okay, so explain now what the Jamie Gold rule is to people.
It is you are not allowed to speak about the contents of your hand. You're not allowed to induce or reduce action in any way whatsoever when you're in a hand, even heads up. Now, that rule does not apply when you play in Ireland. That rule no longer applies when you play at the Bicycle Casino in L.A. They just suspended that rule. Now, I'm told, Matt Savage says that the rule was in place even before I played in the main event. I just made people enforce the rule because they weren't enforcing it properly before me. So supposedly, the rule was in place. If Matt Savage says that it was, I'm sure that it was.
Well, wasn't the rule, my understanding of the rule is, you could talk about your hand as long as you lied.
As long as you don't say exactly what your
as long as you lied
right.
about your hand. You happen...
Sometimes now they don't even let you talk about your hand anymore. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's silly. Danny Negreanu is obviously a big proponent of getting that rule changed, as most of the, I believe, the smartest poker players out there do not want that rule in place. I understand why they have it. They don't want collusion, but you know what? A lot of things people be colluding and doing. You just have to be a little smart about, what you're doing there, and I feel like it's ruining the game. I feel like it's making us, if we can't say a word except calling each other asshole, which is amazing to me, I'm allowed to berate you, yet I'm not allowed to talk strategy with you. So, I'm not allowed to be a chess player, but I'm allowed to be a jerk at the table. That just makes no sense to me.
And I don't think, I know you know this, not only is poker a game, it's a psychological game. And all you were doing was taking the psychological aspect of it and using it to your advantage. And you should be able to use anything you can within the rules of the law for your advantage. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
so, can we talk a little bit about my new site?
Absolutely, yeah.
I need to plug it. We just started 2.5 weeks ago. It's called freegoldpoker.com. That's FREEGOLD poker.com. And it is absolutely free to play. If people choose, they can upgrade for, special VIP memberships. But I'm not encouraging anybody to do that just yet. I'd like everybody to come and play for free. We're giving up to $100,000 a month in cash and all these really cool prizes away. The most right now that you can win in any one tournament is $2,000. So I want people to come and play for free. And every month I'm going to try to give away more and more prizes. So if you play, we're on the Zen Network, which is a great network. But I want to make our site really special on that network, where my personal leaderboard. So if you're playing on my site, just on the Free Gold Poker site, I'm going to give away seats to the main event. I'm going to give away special prizes for my leaderboard. I'm going to give away trips to Vegas. I'm going to give away special coaching with me. We're going to have videos that you can watch where I will teach you, beginner, intermediate, and advanced poker tactics. Eventually there'll be new tips every day. Eventually I'm going to have much larger cash prizes. But for now, while we're building the site, I want as many people to come as possible. We do have advertising. There are no pop-ups. There's no spyware. There's no adware. But while you're waiting to get your seat in any tournament, for that 2 minutes, there's a commercial, just like you'd watch on television. They are television quality, same commercials you see on television on the site. Now, while you're playing on my table, there is advertising, on the felt. It'll say Zen and Free Gold Poker. On the right and left and on the top, there's also advertising, but it's not in your face. On the predetermined breaks is when there'll be commercials. And then if you want extra prizes, extra points, you can actually, you can participate in surveys for our clients. So right now we have Walmart, Home Depot, the Tropicana in Las Vegas, Allstate, State Farm. It's all high-end advertisers. So we're very proud of what's happening so far. We've got a huge response from people, and I want to hear from people about how I should adjust and change the site. You know, a lot of my friends have started winning, but they're winning small money. One of my friends won $50. One of my friends won $100. But again, you're playing for free.
Right.
And so I love the feedback. Anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I'm Real Jamie Gold on Twitter. It's at RealJamieGold on Twitter. Or they can go to JamieGold.com and you can get to my Facebook, Twitter, Free-Go Poker, any of that. If you go to JamieGold.com. And I want the feedback. I absolutely want to hear from people. Constructive criticism, please. We don't want to hear from people that,
Still bitching about 2006?
No, people are going to always, say what they want to say. But I truly appreciate. I have a really great group of fans that follow me whenever I'm playing at tournaments and give me support. And I feel incredibly loved. So I'm not worried about. Look, let's say I have 10 fans in the world, and then I have one hater. I can't really worry about that.
No.
You know what I mean? And the haters usually don't say anything in public. So in public, it's incredible the kind of love and support that I get, and I truly appreciate it.
Well,
and I've never said no to anybody they want. If they want a picture, they want an autograph, whatever it is that they want, I try to spend, time with people when they want to talk to me. And so I feel like, I'm very blessed. My life could not be better based on, the way that I was born and the opportunities that I've been given. I'm the luckiest guy that I could possibly imagine. But what I want to tell people, forgive me, I just want to let them know that we are giving away 10% of every dollar that we ever make in advertising on this site. 10% of all of our profits are going to the causes that we believe in, and we're going to list them. We're going to start announcing. We're making deals with all of the charities that we want to support over the year, and we're very proud to be able to do that. Obviously, one of them will be the NBA ALS Association for my dad, and all the charities that we support. So when you come and log on for free, you're actually supporting all of the charities and all of the causes that we support, the fallen heroes, for all of the officers that are ever shot in the line of duty. We're going to have a really impressive list so that all you have to do, so people say, listen, I don't have any money, I can't really donate. That's not true. You can come and play at freegopoker.com for free, and in turn, 10% of every dollar that I make, that we profit from all of our advertisers, we are going to be donating. And so, just by you playing for free on my site and being able to win cash and prizes, you're actually helping donate money to all of these causes, which I guarantee that there'll be a cause that you believe in on our list, because we're spreading it out so that any one of these causes that you believe in, we'll be donating to it. So I feel like all you have to do to be a charitable human being is go on freegopoker.com and play for free. And in return, I will make money from advertisers, and I will donate 10% of that money that we're making.
That's very, very commendable of you.
And I know you're a generous person, because I don't know if you remember this, but I was one of the production assistants at ESPN, and you were very nice enough to. Yeah, you were nice enough to talk my producer into letting you get me a massage. I was just talking about that earlier. That pissed off a lot of crew members. They were like very jealous, and I got ridiculed by a lot of crew members for that. But I was like, hey. What am I going to do? He offered it to me. I'm not going to turn it down.
It was my pleasure. It was actually a friend of mine that ended up paying for it because he wanted to say thank you for you, featuring him, on the production. And so, I try to live my life to give back as much as I possibly can. I do realize now, I did take a couple years off. People ask me, where have you been? How come you haven't cashed in 20 tournaments? Well, I've only played, I think, less than 20 tournaments in the last 3 years, so it'd be really hard for me to have cashed in 20 tournaments, but I felt like I wanted to go and spend my time in the most charitable way that I could, while I did not have any reason to have to make money. Now I have a reason to go back on tour because I'm promoting my poker site.
Right.
I also have some new sponsors that I need to get out there and promote, and so, it all serves. Somebody that I respect a lot in the philanthropic area is Bono. And Bono says very smartly that the only way that you can ever afford to give away as much money as you can is if you make as much money as you can. Don't be silly and try to give away money to charity for the rest of your life. Eventually you'll go broke. And he's right. That, I was on a path, I don't know how many more years I had left, But I was on a path that if I kept doing what I was doing, traveling around the world, donating as much money as I possibly could, and working for all of these causes for free. I was very fortunate in working for the Global Creative Forum, which raises money for all the different UN agencies, and being able to work for them and put on poker tournaments for them. But I was always donating all the money that I would win. And so eventually, especially with the way that the stock market is going and, all the investments that I have, I'm definitely on a path to being broke. So people thinking it's broke, so that's all.
Yeah, well, Jamie, like I said, I've only met you once. Did we lose you, Jamie? I think we lost
Jamie.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably gonna call back, so I'm gonna hang up on it again, and then he'll probably be calling back. Wow, just hearing some of the stuff that he's talking about, though, and all the negative stuff that did come out, from the 2006 main event.
There's always pros and cons to whatever situation you get involved in, and I'm sure the $12 million is a lot of pros, but I'm sure there was some cons to winning the main event, and it's there's a lot of jealousy, not just in the poker community, in life in general. People don't like when people do good. It's really strange. I'm always happy for my friends when they do good, because if it's not me, I hope it's you. But why knock a person down or try to knock them down? Or try to disparage them when they're doing good. And as far as I know, like I said, I only met Jamie once before, but a very good friend of mine, Kenny Heine, became good friends with Jamie during the main event, during the 2006 main event. And when Kenny told me, this guy is for real, this guy is a really good guy, that was good enough for me. And I didn't pay attention to, like Jamie said, all the untruths and the false rumors that were going around. And it was nothing but rumors going around. I didn't realize that all these court documents are available now, because when we had him on as a guest back in late 2006, early 2007, I'm not sure the date, at that point he was in the middle of the litigation, so we really couldn't talk to him about it at that point. But I'm glad that it's settled. I'm glad that it finally came out that he did not stiff anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He gave that person, and it sounds like it was a real generous gift, considering this guy did nothing to Jamie except hound him, and hey, Jamie said, okay, I'll give you half of whatever I win, just to get rid of the guy.
Exactly. And then now...
And honored it, too. When you say to somebody... Yeah, I'm just saying something just to get rid of you. But then when it comes to surpass, when you actually, do what you say you're going to do, that in itself, I mean, he gave away less to taxes. He gave away $6 million. For what? What did this guy do for him that Jamie had to give?
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey Jamie, what I was saying when we lost you is that I've only met you one time before, so it's really hard to judge someone's character and meeting them only one time. But Kenny Einiger, who I know who you and him became friends.
I love Kenny.
And Kenny and I have been friends for 15, 20 years. And when Kenny told me Jamie Gold is for real, he's a great guy. And so when I was hearing,
he knows that I got screwed. He went through the whole thing with me.
I know he did. And when Kenny told me that you're the real deal, that was good enough for me. And like we said, when we had you on the show, you were in the middle of all that litigation, so we really couldn't talk about it. I'm glad it's settled. And I was just talking to Mark about that. Is you did the honorable thing, because this guy was not a backer. You were not obligated to really give him $6 million
less
taxes.
It was called a gift.
I know, it was a gift. I mean,
he didn't want to take a $4 million gift. He wanted to sue me.
It's incredible.
To get the whole thing, because he was dumb enough to retain attorneys that he didn't give a third to now.
Well, know from this,
That's
Jamie.
That's not my problem.
Right, know from this, Jamie. As far as Kenny Einiger and myself are, you're 100%. You're a stand-up guy, and you're good for the poker world. And for the one or two people out of 100 that want to have something bad to say to you, screw them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
I didn't know much about you, Jamie. Before, just knowing what I've seen on TV, what I've read online, all of the talks, all the rumors. I didn't know, and then just the fact of that you took time to talk to me and all of that stuff at the World Series and doing some more research stuff on you. I see. It was horrible the way you were portrayed in the media. I mean, it was just.
And I will tell you this, and Jamie, I won't go into too much details, but there's something that Jamie I know is working on right now that might bring him to Vegas on a regular basis, and I hope that comes true for you, Jamie, because you being in Vegas is nothing but good for poker.
I really appreciate that, and I'm very confident that that I will be in Vegas, moving there part-time. I'll be living there at least 1 week a month, but maybe initially for the first month. And I do. There is, it's something that I can't talk about until it's official.
I know you can't. I
feel really, really good about it, and I think it'll be, it's a win for everybody.
Absolutely.
It's a win for poker. It's a win for me. It's a win for, for the people that I'll be doing business with. And I do believe that poker, comes in Vegas. Poker's kind of dead out there. I mean, I was just there over a holiday weekend, and I was in shock that there was not a 10-20 game on a regular basis at any one of the casinos except for the Bellagio, where,
All right. I think we're losing him again.
Did we lose him again?
He's a great guest, but I wish we could keep him on the phone.
Hopefully, I think we lost him again. Hopefully he'll call.
Well, I think the point that Jamie was making is that the poker community took a big blow on April 15th as far as developing plays over the internet, and the games have suffered because of that.
Yeah, I thought there he is. He's calling. Is he calling? Yeah. I think with the demise of the online stuff,
we'll try to wrap it up, maybe.
All right. We got him back. We're just talking about how the fact that there weren't many live games, or at least bigger games. Is that due, in your opinion? Do you think because of the loss of the internet games? Do you think are more people, because of the economy, maybe just staying in California and playing as opposed to making the trip out here to play? And then another question I have for you is, in your opinion, do you think the players in California are stronger than the players here in Vegas?
I don't know about stronger. I just think that. No, I don't compare California to Vegas, but what I think we can say is that the poker economy has not changed very much, actually. Of course, anybody who has money on full tilt, but I think it's forced people to play live. What I do think is that the economy has stopped people from traveling. So if everybody's playing live, every casino I go to in any city is booming. In their poker room. It's that people aren't traveling. And Vegas is a travel destination. Most people don't live in Vegas. So if you're not getting the tourists, you're losing a lot of business out there in Vegas. So I feel like maybe I can try to attract more people to come to Vegas to play poker. I feel like I can have something to do with that. But I feel like the poker world is booming, and there's a lot of money going on. And I think that the online shutdown has only helped the live game, but the economy has hurt the travel world. People are not spending an extra $1,000 a person to travel anywhere to play poker when they can go 20 minutes away in their local casino.
I think that's a great point.
Absolutely.
Yes, I really feel like that's what's going on. So I want to be a facilitator of making people come to Vegas, because there'll be somebody like myself that you could actually play with at any level. I'll play with people for $100. I love the game. I'll play the same day I played poker for free for $100 and for $100,000. I've done that many times. And I will continue to do that. I love the game. I don't care. I like playing smaller levels because I concentrate so hard. When I'm playing for $100,000 or more, I'm focused. I want to win. When I lose, I don't like it. And so I feel like I don't want to have to work so hard all the time. That's work for me. When I play for $100, when I play for free online, I don't have to pay attention. I don't really care. You know what I mean? It's just fun. I love the fun of the game, but it's not fun when I'm playing for $100,000.
You just love the game.
Unless I win. Then it's really fun.
Now that kind of bankroll I could afford, and I would love to play you heads up sometime for $100 or two, because that's something I
promise you will be able to do that, because that's part of what I'm working on. I want to be in Vegas. I want to have a home where I'm there all the time, and you can come and play me for $100. Wow. And I love that. And I love the camaraderie, the social aspect of it. Where else in the world is a more democratic place that a homeless person and the president, the wealthiest person, and a celebrity can all sit down and be equals.
Right.
Other than a poker table.
And I'll give you.
They're all not having dinner together, that's for sure, but they can all play at a $100 buy-in at a poker table.
Right,
I know some people who are homeless who are playing $100 poker.
I'll give you an example, Jamie. No matter, you can't, a normal guy like Mark and I can't play one-on-one with Michael Jordan. It's just not going to happen. But we can play one-on-one with Jamie Gold, the world champion.
Well, I wouldn't call me the Michael Jordan of poker.
No, I'm not calling you, but I'm making a comparison. You in 2006, you were the guy. You were the world champion.
Yeah, there's a certain excitement, I guess, to beating, whatever I was, the champ and all that. So, but using a better example, let's say Phil Ivey.
Okay.
Because he is the Michael Jordan of poker. You can actually sit down in a game and play him. You can play him heads up. You're going to have to put up $1 million, but it is still possible. But then again, you know what? If you put up $1 million, you could play Michael Jordan in basketball.
I'm sure he would show up for that. Well, Jamie, I hope the deal that you're working on right now in Las Vegas, I hope that comes true. I think it will. I think you're a perfect match for the location, and I look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. And when you are here in town, hopefully we can get you in live in the studio, and we don't have to keep on losing you on the phone.
On the phone. But while we do have you on, Jamie, I do want to talk a little bit about your background other than poker. Now, you were a talent agent, and do you still do that? Do you have a production company as well?
No, I do. I still work in television production, but through other people's companies, because I just love it. I do it now for fun. I used to do it for trying to make a living at it, which was not easy. But I did make a very good living as an agent and a manager. And, some of my clients were James Gandolfini and Jimmy Fallon, Lucy Liu and Felicity Huffman and Kristen Davis and Brandy and Ray J. And, I had a really nice list of people. And I'm very proud about the work that I had done, but I felt like it had reached a point where I needed to move on. And I was moving on to work in television production. At the same time, my poker game was getting to a place where Johnny Chan told me I was going to go and not just win. He said, you're going to go wipe it out. He convinced me that I wasn't just going to win, that I was going to be chip leader every day, which was close. The first 3 days I was only in the top 10, but pretty close to exactly how he predicted it, that I might wipe this thing out. And so I feel really good about how things went, and that I had an opportunity to move on. And then once I had that kind of money, I didn't need to work anymore. I wanted to still work, but I didn't have to work. And it's a beautiful thing to work when you don't have to make money.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was very, very fortunate, and I still have my hands in television production, a little bit in the movie business, but barely.
Something that we're working on, and the whole basis of this show starting was an idea that we actually came up with, and I don't know, you probably might have played him in the home games there. He lives in L.A. He's a pro, good friend of mine named Danny George. I don't know if you know him off the top of your head or not.
It sounds very familiar. I know so many people by their first name and their face.
Yeah, he's a Lebanese guy who owns some restaurants in Burbank, and he played.
Oh, what was that?
Gitana in Burbank. It's
Gitana's not in Burbank.
Or a Lebanese restaurant, or a Mediterranean restaurant. And it's a hookah lounge.
I think I do know him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a good friend of mine. I actually met him when I was a floor person at the Golden Nugget a couple of years ago, and we came up with an idea for a TV show, and we've actually been shopping it around. The hard part, as you know, being in Hollywood, is to get a meeting with anybody to pitch a show, you need an agent, and to get an agent, you need to get referred by somebody, and so on and so forth. And we've been able to have a couple of meetings. We had some meetings with Fox Sports Net. And another agent that actually runs a home game, but he's retired, a gentleman named Norby Walters. He runs a $1, $2, 7-card stud game that's nothing but celebrities.
Oh, cool. I know Norby really well,
yeah.
But he hasn't worked as an agent in 20 years.
Exactly. Well, we met with him a couple of weeks ago at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and since he isn't in the business, he tried to help us out a little bit to refer. But the idea that we came up with, and I could tell you about it because it's public domain, and we've got the idea registered and copywritten, is a show called the Las Vegas Strip Poker Series. And we actually shot an episode, a pilot, a couple of months ago, and we had Todd Brunson, Gavin Smith, Jeff Madsen, Danny, and and another gentleman named Bobo, and Joe, who owns, along with his future wife, Joe's getting married tomorrow, owns the Nevada Poker League, and they helped us out. We shot it at Sapphire Strip Club in Vegas, and we shot it, and it's actually a pretty cool concept. It's 6 professional poker players, each of them paired with a stripper or model, and as they lose a hand, they lose an article of clothing. And everybody had a great time. We shot it, and everybody that has seen it thinks it would be a fantastic show. But
I think it's great. The stripper aspect takes me out of it, though. I think I would watch it. I think it's a great idea, but I have some other things that I'm working on that would not allow me to be a part of something like that.
As far as a player?
I'd be a part of it in any way.
Oh, okay. Well,
because of the stripper aspect. You understand that there are certain public companies that I'm going to be working with that wouldn't do business with me if I was involved with strippers in any way whatsoever.
True. No, and I understand that. And we actually
on television.
No.
I need to be careful about.
No, and actually, and we had as I said, we had a meeting with Fox Sportsnet, and they love the idea, but their thing is
it's a great idea.
It would never get past standards and practices. Even though the fact that the strippers that we shot and everything, they don't strip completely. They're down to bikini tops and bottoms and all that.
I think it's a great idea. There's just no way I could be a part of it.
Oh, no, not at all. And I'm not even asking, as far as that. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the idea. But we also have other ideas that we're working on, and possibly something that maybe we could talk about. The other idea that Fox Sports is interested in is a show called.
We should not do this on the air.
Sure. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll give you a call later and talk about it if that's okay. But
yeah, no problem.
But anyway, so yeah, just maybe something you might be a part of, but. We appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time, and I know we've had some technical difficulties, but you calling back and what other than this thing about where you're coming to Vegas, and I heard a little bit about it. I know you can't talk about it. What else do you have?
Can't talk about that.
What else do you have going on? You've got the free Gold Poker, and
right now this week I'm focusing on freegoldpoker.com. Then next week I'll be in Las Vegas at the Tropicana for Brad Garrett's charity poker event. It's a $500 buy-in. A ton of celebrities are coming.
Danny's actually going to be playing there too. Yeah, he's actually listed on their website as one of the celebrities, even though he's not well known. But I know he's really good friends with Brad Garrett. So
Who is?
My friend Danny George. He's actually going to be there. Yeah, also. So I'm definitely going to be going to that just to go over there. So.
Oh, excellent. So I'll see you over there. And that's what I'm doing in the next 10 days. And then I'm going to be back on tour. I'm going to start playing in more World Poker Tour events, more circuit events. I'm going to start traveling as much as I possibly can. I'm even I'm going to do something in India actually.
Really? Can you talk about that?
The keynote speaker for 85,000 people, and that's going to be a pretty cool thing. I'm going to go in January, but I usually don't plan things more than 2 weeks ahead because.
Are you going to be playing the World Series of Poker Europe?
I am not. Because I have commitments in America, and I was planning on playing. In my mind, I always thought that I would be going, but I will plan on being there next year for sure. But unfortunately, I made commitments and I gave my word, and so I have to be here now.
Hey, Jamie, and earlier in the show when we talked about you mentioned in the beginning you kind of knuckled down and read some books. Is there any particular book that you would recommend to a player that's starting out, similar to when you were starting out?
What I'm going to do, I'll tell you what, because I was actually going through. I have a library of 200-300 poker books, and some of them I think are absolutely a waste of time. And I don't want to put anyone down specifically, but I will promote a certain group of those books. And what I'm going to do is on my website on jamiegold.com. Look at sometime in the next month, I'm going to put a list together because a lot of my friends have been waiting for this. But it's not just going to be a list; it'll be a really well detailed plan of which books you should read in what order, and how you should be, creating your own poker, education. And so instead of me just throwing out a few books, I'm going to give, none of which I've written, by the way. They're just books that I really respect. But I think there's a certain order in which you should do that.
Right.
So I'm going to put together a real detailed list, and within a month, just go to my website.
Which is?
And I'll have that there for everybody, obviously, for free.
And the website is jamiegold.com?
JamieGold.com, JamieGold.com, or obviously you can find me at Real Jamie Gold on Twitter, and the official Jamie Gold fan page on Facebook. But FreeGoldPoker.com is really where I want people going, because they can, sign up and win cash up to $100,000 a month for free every month.
I'm going to sign up on that as soon as I get home.
Please do.
Hey,
so it was
Jamie.
great talking to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Jamie, thank you. You're a great guest. We do appreciate your time. We know it's valuable, and we...
Well, I'm going to see you in a week in Vegas.
Yeah, we're going to see you next weekend, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll stop by the Tropicana to see you.
Fantastic, Jamie. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Guy.
I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
And we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in just a second right here on the Vegas Spanish Show, TLVS1.com.
TLVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. More talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on TLVS1.com. The Vegas station.
McGruff, the crime dog here. Let's hear from an identity thief.
Identities are easy to catch online. I send people an official-looking email pretending to be their bank or credit card company and ask them to confirm their personal information. Hooks them every time.
Safeguard your personal information on the phone, online, and especially at home, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Seacrest for RAD. Over 300 people in this country are killed every week by a drunk driver. That's the equivalent of 2 747 plane crashes every single week. And the problem isn't going away unless we all do our part to stop it. So if you see someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
TLVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. More talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on TLVS1.com. The Vegas station.
It's TLVS1.com, the Vegas Banter Show. Mark Hernandez along with Joe Payne, the House of Pain. It's our new theme song, Brass Monkey.
Brass Monkey now?
Sure, why not?
We need to play that Bruno Mars song.
Oh, that's right. Bruno Mars. You wanted me to do that. Let me.
Well, we can.
I've actually got that queued up and stuff here. Where'd he go? Bruno Mars. Now you said this is.
I think it's like a polka kind of song because most polka players are lazy. They're lazy asses.
They're lazy asses poker players?
No, they Can you hear it?
Well, there's an advertisement, so I'm talking for 10 seconds while we're waiting for that. I didn't want to play their advertising on.
It's a pretty hot song right now, and it's just they don't feel like doing nothing today except playing poker.
I've actually never
I can't believe you've never heard of the song.
I've never heard of the song. Let's take a listen. We can do like a talk over it. Is this on? Yeah. The Lazy Song official video. Some monkeys.
Today I don't feel like doing anything
but playing poker.
I just wanna lay in my bed.
Wow.
Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing
after you play, when you play the long night of poker on the internet, you don't feel like doing anything the next day. Throw my hands in my pants. There you go.
I do that while I'm playing. Sometimes people frown upon it, but
makes company leave real quick.
You know what? So far, the most impressive part of this video is how he got all these monkeys trained to do this. That's awesome. Now I know this guy. His real last name is Hernandez, so maybe we're related.
Bruno Mars' last name is Hernandez?
Yeah, Peter Hernandez, right? Yep.
I didn't know that. This is just his stage name?
Apparently. He looks Mexican. He looks more Mexican than I do. Look at him. He looks like Richie Valens back in the day or something, with the puffed up hair. Is this the whole video, just right here dancing in? What happened to the monkeys?
They'll be back.
Really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great!"
Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, I might mess around.
See, the monkeys have returned.
There they are. Because what makes a video better is when you have monkeys.
So, do you like the song?
I like it. It's catchy. I'm surprised that, like I said, I never heard of it.
Yeah, when we talked about it last week, you were like, what? What song?
Yeah, but I didn't...
It's actually the name of the song is The Lazy Song, but I call it The Lazy Ass Song.
The Lazy Ass Song? If you added certain cuss words into song titles or song lyrics, it makes a song so much better. The Lazy Ass Song is good.
Right? You play poker, you have to comb your hair.
I don't have to comb my hair anyway, dude. Look at this. Come on.
But I don't comb my hair and put a baseball hat on. You can play in your birthday suit.
If you're playing online, wow. Nice boxers.
Unfortunately, our audience cannot see the video.
They can look it up, though. It's on YouTube.
Bruno Mars.
The Lazy Song. The Lazy Ass Song. This is pretty cool.
Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all.
I will tell you this, that this song plays quite often in my home.
Yeah.
That my parrot does the...
Now, who plays it more? Is it you, Sissy, or your daughter? Or?
The kids. The kids usually have it on, and the bird sits either on top of the computer screen or in one of the perches that we have.
And the bird just sings along.
The bird does the ooh, 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 ooh.
That's awesome. You get
pretty
trained
cool.
birds and everything.
I do. I'm a master of all... What do they call it? Jack of all trades?
Jack of all trades, a master of none?
Yeah, something like that.
That's a pretty cool song. Maybe we should take a vote on it and see if that should be our new theme song.
No. Elvis has got to sing.
You like Elvis?
Yeah, but once in a while.
Every once in a while we'll put that on there.
When we feel lazy, we can...
That one or Freddie Fender.
Your cousin.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Jamie Gold. And the coolest thing about that interview was just the fact that First of all, I found out from Paul, our producer, that he was driving.
I didn't know that.
I heard like wind in the background, but I didn't think he was driving.
Well, he's in L.A., so we don't really know whether he was driving.
2 miles an hour sitting in parking traffic.
Sitting on the 405. You know why they call it the 405?
Because it takes you 4 or 5 hours.
No,
to
you're
get
either going 4 or 5
miles an hour.
405.
But just the fact that it disconnected several times.
But he called right back.
He called right back. I mean,
he had something to say.
Exactly. I mean, it was a fantastic interview. He had a lot to talk about. Made me feel like most radio shows when I can't get a word in edgewise with Joe, but I had to bring that up. Come on.
God,
I had to say that.
I did feel bad. I thought maybe I was kind of asking too many questions.
No. I'm just messing with you.
I try to get you involved in the conversation.
Yeah, well, I sit here, I play with the computer. It's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. No hard feelings.
Okay, I'll say nothing. Notice today?
No.
I want you to know, did you notice today I kind of took a back seat?
Well, because the two of us.
I think we both kind of took a back seat. But I always,
Jamie? Right.
You know how when you prepare for a game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not calling the show a game, but when I prepared for the show today, part of my pregame show ritual today was that I was going to take a back seat today and kind of let you lead the way. But then Jamie had different.
Hold on.
Jamie had different plans.
Hold on. You prepare for the show?
I do, somewhat.
I don't. Can you tell? No rehearsal, no preparation.
No,
I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do a radio show today.
I like to be prepared.
Yeah, no, I
know you do. You're just tossing around.
Yeah, no,
I mean, right? You combed your hair.
I did. I combed my hair today. Matter of fact, I'm wounded. I don't even know if it's still there. Is there a big bruise on top of my head?
Oh, wow.
I don't even know. I can't see it because I look in the mirror and I put it down. I can't see it, so I don't know how bad it is.
See this, Paul?
Is it bad?
Big scab on it.
Is there a big scab? I don't know what the hell happened.
It looks like another planet.
I don't know if I got bit by a bug maybe in California or what, because it hurt like hell coming back. I was driving back on Tuesday and I felt it and I was like, what the hell is that? And I tried shaving my head.
We don't have a Zoom. We can zoom in.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts like hell. I don't know what it is. Are you a doctor? Can you play one?
I'm not a doctor.
Damn.
Don't claim to be. Don't want to be.
Never played one on TV. Never pretended to be one when you went to play blackjack.
Actually, I did play a doctor once with a girl named Nicole. I was like 8 years old.
Nice.
She was 7.
Yeah.
She said that her tummy hurt.
Yeah. Did you touch her tummy? Did you check her tummy?
Well, I wanted to be a competent doctor.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to give her a tummy exam, so.
You gave her a full exam.
I gave her a full exam.
Nice. And was everything okay?
As far as I remember, it was. There were no charges filed.
Well, you were 8, dude. I mean, Now, if she had been 8 and you had been 18, no, let's not even go there.
Let's not even
All right.
there.
So tomorrow, the 5-figure score tournament is happening
at the Tropicana.
At the Tropicana, exactly. I think we got a lot of things happening at the Tropicana, but
it seems like
starting at noon, it's $160, which is $150 plus a $10 dealer add-on. No limit hold'em tournament at the Tropicana. 15,000 starting chips. That's actually pretty good for a tournament. Late registration available for 2 hours, and they've added a 7-night trip to Lake Tahoe during the WSOP circuit event in November to the prize pool. The winner gets the trip in addition to first place prize money, plus 5-figure score will stake them in the $350 event while they're there. The player gets to keep 60% of their profits from the chosen event if they cash. They have 5 packages to give away over the next several weeks. So this tournament is on the 10th, the 24th, October 1st, and 8th. They did one last weekend. 5-figure score is... basically, it's a website, and it's a program committed to helping low to middle stake poker players advance in their careers. Because of the economy, the aftermath of Black Friday, it's more important than ever to get as much value for your dollar. So what they're doing is they're aiming to bring players value-added events that always offer something fantastic on top of the prize pool, which in this case would be the trip to Tahoe. So that's going to be kind of cool. I think I'm going to play in that tomorrow.
60%. No, we're talking about the tournament that they buy you into.
Correct. They buy you into the tournament and they get 60% because it's an added...
So the player gets 60%.
The player gets 60%.
And 40% goes to...
To 5-figure score.
Okay.
Which makes sense because not only are you winning the tournament itself, the $160 buy-in tournament, which of course you get to keep all of that, it's an added trip. on top of that they're not taking any rake for.
And who runs the site? Do we know?
Allison Whistle is who I've been in contact with. And her email address is allison@fivefigurescore.com. So check out the website. It's got more info, fivefigurescore.com.
And this is this weekend? Is this tomorrow?
Tomorrow. So you can skip your wedding and go play.
I don't think that's going to happen.
What time is your wedding tomorrow?
6:30.
Oh, you got plenty of time. This tournament's at noon.
I can get blinded off.
Yeah, no problem.
do we say? Does it say how long the blind levels are?
I do not see anything on top of that.
I like the chips, but I hate when they give you a whole bunch of chips, but the blind levels by the 6th or 7th level it's everybody's within 10 to 15 big blinds.
I think she said it's about a 6-hour tournament, so I would guess it's not going to be too bad. Maybe 20-minute levels, 30-minute levels.
The tournament starts at 6.
Tournament starts at noon.
So I could technically play.
Yeah, because you'd be knocked out by 2.
No, my name is not Mark Hernandez. I could play, make the final table, which will get me to about 6, have the tux in my car, have you drive me while I'm putting the tux on.
Doing like a kind of Hangover style, yeah.
Hangover style. It's a good movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work. No, there's some wedding day preparation things that need to be done.
I wasn't invited to the wedding, so I've got plenty of time for the event. And now, Paul, have you noticed every time I've asked him about not being invited to the wedding, he always changes the subject right away?
Absolutely.
You know, I haven't been invited to the wedding. Oh yeah, and then I need this and this.
It's called segueing out of a situation that you don't want to talk about.
Is it because I'm Mexican? Is that what it is?
No, not at all.
No?
But we have a quota.
A quota?
And we have the Mexican quota's already filled.
The Mexican quota's filled. Oh.
We do need a Hawaiian. So, Paul, if you're available tomorrow.
They need He's like, what?
What? No, actually, it's a very, very small party. We're having it at Anthem View Restaurant. So anybody wants to crash the party? See, I already
Anthem View. Where is that?
Well, So should I give him the address?
Sure.
He knows where it is. It's absolutely. It overlooks the whole entire city. It's pretty magnificent.
Nice.
Hey, we don't go. We go big.
You go big. Now,
I know from Texas.
Now wait a minute. Now, if you go big, do people have to buy their own dinners, or are you providing?
It's an open bar, and we're feeding you.
Oh. Where's this address again?
You know what? You got a GPS?
I do.
Put in Anthem View Restaurant.
Anthem View Restaurant.
6:30 tomorrow night.
So let's see if
we're timing it for the sunset. We're getting married right at sunset.
If the gardener or the guy that cuts your grass or the guy that the maid can't make it, then you have an opening for a Mexican.
Mark, if you want to come tomorrow, you can.
No, okay? I'm not trying to shove myself into your wedding, dude. Only if I'm sincerely invited. Then
I just said, Mark, if you would like to come.
See, Mark, if you want to come, I guess you can go ahead.
Back in New York.
Does that sound like an invitation, Paul?
No. Here's what it is. A friend of mine used to call it a visor invite. You get into someone's car, and you inadvertently, or maybe it's really sunny out, and you go to pull the visor down, and an invitation that you never received that he's throwing or she's throwing falls in your lap. Oh, by the way, I'm having this party. It's called a visor invite. So I'm giving you what a New York visor invite is. If you're around tomorrow, by Anthem, come on up. No, seriously. If you
see last minute. Now I don't know whether to be heard of this by this Paul or not. I mean, because I brought it up 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and every time I brought it up, he's changed the subject. Now all of a sudden it's pressure. He's on the air. It's pressure. It's game time. The wedding's tomorrow in less than 24 hours, and now he's saying, if you're in the area, if you must...
I'll still be single tomorrow at 5:27.
Oh, okay. All right. So 25 hours.
There you go.
If you're in the area, if you must, if you want to crash the party, we'll have security there. So if you come in, I don't know. I don't know if that's...
Well, here's the deal. We happen to know the guy who owns the restaurant, and he wanted us to have our wedding up there, and he has a big catering hall in the back, but the catering hall part overlooks the parking lot, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it here.
Yeah,
I want to do it inside the restaurant because the restaurant's got, like I said, this incredible view, and then outside there's this area where the ceremony is going to take place, which sits up really high, and it just, I mean, if you were standing behind me while Sissy and I are getting married, the view you're going to have is just of the entire city behind us. So we got them to somewhat close the restaurant down, but we're limited to the amount of people that we could have, because if we're on the back end in the catering hall, you know, we could have had 300 people, but being in the restaurant,
Are you saying I'm fat?
I'm not saying you're fat. I'm saying, but it's funny because you know, we're only having about 80 people.
So 81 would make that big of a difference, huh? Wow. Wow.
But
I thought we were friends. We're radio show partners. I thought we had so much. We were like.
Well, I thought we
were freaking tight. You know.
We are tight, but since you told me I talk too much,
you do. You talk too damn much.
I'm thinking if you heard enough of me on Friday, you don't want to hear from me till next Friday.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Now I got to rethink this because now if I'm invited, that means I got to bring a gift. So a gift for a free meal. But it is open bar, but then it's all the way in Anthem, and that's a long drive for me, so if I drink a lot...
yeah, how do you get home?
How am I going to get home, yeah.
Yeah, NFL Sissy, Mark's sleeping over tonight. Honeymoon night. Yeah, he's my boy.
Scoot over!
Scoot over, Sissy. Mark's joining us.
I get to be in the middle.
No, if you would like to come, you are invited.
I'm not going to crash your wedding. Or maybe
now you're making me feel guilty. And I've gone through this all week. You know, we know a lot of players because of the Nevada Poker League, and there are some players in the league that we actually socialize outside of the league.
Yeah.
And those players are coming to our wedding. And there's some that we know only from the league, and we don't see them unless they're in the league. And at Ricardo's last Sunday, I had 2 different players say, "Hey, you know, did I not get my invite, or did you not know?" And you know, you put you on the spot.
Put you on the spot. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just messing with you.
And I said to him, and I was being honest. I said, "Well, you know, we only had a limited amount of space to fit tables into the restaurant part." And I said, "Well, I have had a couple of people who are going to be out of town. If you would like to come, please do." Thank God they said no.
Now, what happens if, like, you're saying this and, like, 50 or 60 extra people show up?
You know what? If it's at Anthem View at 6:30, show up and take your shot. Take your chances.
Well, you know,
you can always stand at the bar.
You know, here's the one thing.
It is an open bar, so you can always stand at the bar.
I've DJ'd a lot of weddings. You know, I DJ, obviously. And
do you have equipment?
Yeah.
Wow, I could have used you as the DJ.
Yeah, I've DJ'd thousands of weddings, actually, about 2,800 weddings in my life. So, and some very high-profile weddings, actually. And there was one at a very nice location, which I won't give the location, but it sounded like no.
Sounds like Anthem View.
No, but and it was for some Mexicans, and a very high-dollar wedding, and it was an actual plated dinner, you know, as opposed to a buffet. And being Mexican. There was supposed to be 100 people, and like 400 showed up.
Really?
Because they're like, hey, you know, come on.
One tells the other.
Yeah, one tells the other, and all these people showed up, and it was like a big deal. It turned into a big mess, and it was at a very high-dollar, high-profile place.
You don't want to mention the place?
I can't. No.
You can't because
I'm still under contract.
Oh,
so
excuse me. I had a similar situation. We had a party for Hunter, which is Sissy's son. 16. He was turned 16. We had a party for him, and it was middle of February. Hunter's birthday is February 28th, so we heated the pool up, and all of a sudden there was just kids walking in. I'm like, Hunter, who's that? He goes, I don't know. Who's that kid? I don't know. And what happens is Hunter invites 3 or 4 of his friends, who in turn tell 3 or 4. Hey, there's a party at so and so, and we had kids who we didn't even know who they were. You know, in our pool, in our jacuzzi, in our hot tub, in our home, and I was like,
look at that. Listen to him all bragging about his pool and jacuzzi and hot tub and home.
You've been there.
I have. It's nice.
Living large.
I'm one of them homeless people that just...
No, you're not.
Pretty damn close.
No, but it's, you know, I have I guess, a decent house, I guess. I hope
it's a beautiful house.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually very... I know, and it's one of those houses where they have to announce you at the gate. I was felt.
Mark Hernandez. Don't let him in.
He's not on the invite list.
I live in a gated community, which I probably wouldn't do again if I bought another home in Las Vegas. It's a pain in the butt.
Even for living there?
Well, it's a pain in the butt because we have the HOA.
Oh, well, all HOAs are pain in the ass.
Oh, my God. And it's just like, hey, and I literally had a patch of grass that must have went bad. It had to be about yay big, which is maybe the size of, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. I get a letter from them. How are you gonna correct your lawn situation?
Now it's a situation?
Yeah, I get letters all the time. Your garbage pail is visible from the street.
I know exactly about this because at our condo complex, we got a letter because Anthony left a step ladder on the balcony.
The littlest things.
And here was another one. got home one day, and there was a yellow card on my door.
Oh, like a soccer game, you got a yellow card.
Yeah, it was a yellow card on my door, and I looked at it, and it had my name printed on it, and it was from the Las Vegas Township Constable. And it said somebody has filed a complaint about you which could result in criminal charges. Now, I'm usually a pretty good guy. I mean, I've had some stuff in my past, but it's, I was like, what the hell is this? I don't think I've done anything. And so it said you have to call. So I called. I got a voicemail for the officer. I left him a voicemail. 3 or 4 hours passed. I didn't hear anything, so I decided to call the constable's office. They had no record of anything, so you need to call the officer. I ended up leaving. He called while I was gone, left a message. We played phone tag for a couple of days. Finally, I got a call back, and it turned out at that time I was driving a truck which still had Texas license plates.
Oh.
Okay? And I was living there for about 6 months. I got a new car 4 months ago, brand new car that now has Nevada plates. Well, this letter was put on 2 months after I got the car, that somebody was complaining about my Texas license plates from a truck that I traded in 3 months before.
Probably somebody from Oklahoma. You know how those Oklahomans and Texans, they
probably
clash,
Yeah,
Sooners,
must have been
Longhorns.
Must have been it, yeah. No, but I mean, just the fact that
people get involved
complain
in stuff
about,
that really doesn't concern them.
Why would it freaking matter about Texas plates? I mean, it wasn't the registration was current. It wasn't expired. So what does it matter? I mean, this is Las Vegas. So many people come from other places. I don't get why neighbors get into other neighbors' business. I don't get it. It's another reason why I hate people.
You hate people?
All people, pretty much.
I will tell you this: I've lived in my home since 2001, which thank
10
God.
years now.
Thank God Donna's not here, because we wouldn't be able to figure out how many years in there.
Right, that'd be about 6 years ago. Yeah.
I know my next door neighbor, which is my friend CJ. Who that's the reason I bought the house. He kind of said, "Hey, the house next door for me is for sale." And that's about it. I mean, I do kind of wave to my neighbor across the way. The other neighbor, I don't talk to.
It's sad nowadays. People don't even.
You don't know your neighbors.
You know your neighbors here, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's Hawaiian. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. One. They see
one
what
neighbor,
I mean?
just one. That's it.
In Brooklyn, you knew everybody on your block. Yeah. Everyone. Because at night you would sit on. We call them stoops.
Yeah.
And in the daytime, the stoops were used for stoop ball.
Stoop ball.
Yeah, you take a ball and if you were good, you'd be able to hit it right off the edge of the concrete, which would propel the ball into the air, and you play stoop ball. You bounce the ball off the stoop.
Kind of
stupid.
And the guy,
hey.
Oh, just kidding.
Come on now.
Come on. I had to go for that one. It was too easy.
Stoop ball. But in Brooklyn, you knew everyone on your block.
Yeah. When I grew up, we knew all our neighbors all the way up and down. But now nobody talks to anybody.
No.
I mean, if something happens, you're pretty much screwed.
Well, here in Vegas, you drive your car into your garage. The garage door closes behind you. You go into...
Listen to him with those fancy words, garage. Garage. Such a fancy word. I call it a car hole.
No one uses their front door here in Las Vegas. Everyone enters their home, usually through their car hole.
I don't get to park in the garage. I have to park outside, so I have to come through the front door.
Okay, but okay.
But you well-off people.
Well off.
Yeah. Anthony uses the garage because he was living there since before I got there.
Oh, so he's got garage.
He's got the garage
privilege,
and I have to park outside. And sometimes there's not a parking space. I have to walk a mile.
And what do you do when it's like? And it's gotten hot here lately. What do you do when it's 115 degrees?
Freaking walk like a Mexican. Shit. I gotta walk.
I know how to walk like an Egyptian. There's a song to tell you that.
There's a song, Walk Like a Mexican?
No.
As you're going, you're picking up trash and...
Oh, my God. No, but seriously, I mean, I couldn't imagine leaving my car out in the sun.
It's horrible. And especially with the new car, it really kind of ticks me off. Because he's got like a 12-year-old Hyundai, and I've got a brand new car.
That's inside, and the new car is outside getting beat up by the sun?
Yep.
Pretty sad.
Yeah. But I get a new car like every 3 years because I just go like that.
So
I'm a high roller like that.
Yeah, you just roll like that, right?
Exactly.
You roll like that?
Exactly.
I can't remember the last time I bought a new car.
Well, that's how come your cars keep breaking down. That explains it.
Hopefully one is being fixed right now. Tires. Needed tires.
Which one?
The one that broke down last Friday. The
truck?
Yeah, it's kind of...
And I thought you said it was like a 2-year-old truck.
It is, but I need new tires on it.
So you already busted belts and...
I busted a belt and a pulley.
And a pulley. I've never even heard of a pulley in a vehicle.
But then Sissy told me yesterday, the car's doesn't feel good. I got into it this morning. I'm like, oh, there's something wrong here. And I brought it, and there was a bubble on the inside of the passenger front tire, which is kind of making the car not feel real stable.
Wobbly a little bit.
So it's being repaired right now. And I'm going to take the money that you pay me
Yeah,
as the co-host today.
Are the checks ready, Paul?
Yeah,
Are the checks ready processed?
And hopefully it'll cover my...
it'll cover. You can buy it. Go ahead and buy a new one. Cover the repairs on this one and buy a new one. Why not?
You promised me I'll take care of you at the end. The end of what?
Yeah.
The end of the world?
Is it the end yet?
Supposedly the world is ending in 2012.
Okay, so the day after the world ends,
check's
in the mail.
You could actually put it in the mail a couple of days before.
But I might have to mail it from somewhere further away.
Because it gets here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, the post office is going broke, though.
I heard something about they're supposed to close in the next few months or something.
That's really good. How are they going to send your electric bill to you?
I get everything online, dude. Everybody does everything online now. The post office is actually pretty much obsolete. But
Yeah.
I very rarely get any mail that I could use.
I have all these, what do they call them, like direct pay?
Direct pay, and I just do everything online.
Yeah,
so
I do. I was being archaic, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it just shows your age. Do you know how to use a computer, Joe?
I know how to use the mouse. I know if I go like this with the mouse, the little needle, the arrow goes this way. No, I'm pretty bad on a computer.
Are you?
Yeah.
So did you gamble online? When
I did, but Sissy would click onto the site for me. She'd select the table and go, okay, here you go. No, actually, I'm okay on a computer. I mean, I don't know, just downloading and a guy's like shooting our video for us or for our wedding, and he said, I'll give you the original, and then you can just make copies of them. Like, how do you do that?
See, I could have hooked you all up. I have wedding photographers that I work with. I have DJs. I could have done all of that.
Why did you say something sooner? You knew I was getting married.
Because you didn't invite me.
Oh, stop
I was
it!
Hurt.
Well, you could have done you could have been the DJ. What would you have charged me? Seriously, how
long is the event?
7 to 11.
7 to 11, so 4 hours. Normal price for 4 hours is $150 an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what are you paying your guy?
Well, I want to hear what before.
Normal would be $150 an hour, and that would include, if you're going to do everything, and then it also include how many people. If it's 80 people, it might have been a little less, maybe $125 an hour.
So basically $500.
Yeah, $500 to $600. That would have if you wanted lights, if you wanted smoke, if you wanted extra stuff like that.
Smoke like in weed?
Well, absolutely. You got to have weed at the wedding.
So you're getting on to me for taking one of Sissy's muscle relaxes, but you're going to bring weed to the wedding.
About freaking haze smoke.
Oh, haze smoke.
Lord. So, if you would have wanted all of that.
That's extra?
No, I mean, that would have included like everything. If you wanted to take away some of that stuff, it could have been probably about $5. I would have done it probably for you. If you had asked me to do it, I would have done it for free. But,
let me see if I can.
Hold on. Let me see I'm making him feel bad.
Let me see if I can cancel the DJ.
I want to make him feel bad because he didn't invite me, right? So I got to tell him that, right? Right, Paul? Yeah. What do you normally charge, Paul? About $500-600 for a 4-hour wedding?
A wedding?
Yeah.
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 Oh, really? Oh, you did it also? Wow.
Yeah. For clubs, it's more expensive.
Yeah, I know. Clubs are a lot more expensive, but weddings, yeah. I personally, though, I hate DJing weddings.
Tell me why.
I'm very good at them, but for the most part...
Because it's too timeline kind of thing?
No, I don't...
Like, we have to do this now, and we have to cut the cake now, and we got to...
It depends on where I'm doing it. If I'm in charge of it, in other words, like, if let's say they're doing it at Caesars, and they have a coordinator, but I'm pretty much in charge of everything, that's fine. There's other places that's all they do is weddings, these little wedding halls and stuff, and where they have... I like to do things my way because I know... I've been doing it for so long. There's a certain way to do it, and I don't know. It just really irritates me doing weddings. They're boring, they're cheesy. Everybody wants to do the YMCA, wants to do the Macarena, wants to do the conga line. It just gets cheesy, and it just gets repetitive. And I mean, I've done a lot of weddings, but
this is why I didn't invite him.
Are you doing the Macarena and the YMCA?
No,
did
I say that? No.
I don't know.
YMCA.
I mean, I've had some strange weddings where. One where I had a bride and groom. You've got your first dance song. I'm sure you got it picked out. Do you know what your first dance song is going to be?
It's been changing for the last 4 days.
What are you settling on? Give me your couple of options, whatever.
Well, I wanted Have I Told You Lately by Rod Stewart.
Typical. Okay.
Why don't you say cheesy?
No,
that was
it's not cheesy. It's typical. But I had a couple ones that wanted, and I had to ask them a couple of times, they wanted Prince, Pussy Control.
Pussy Control.
As their first song, as husband and wife. Yes.
And did you accommodate them?
They paid me. Hey, as long
That
as
was their first
that
song?
was their first song, and they wanted it strictly for shock value, and it got shock value.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
What was the bride's mother? Was she
Everybody
there?
Yeah, everybody was there. Grandparents, everything.
The reaction was
Shock. It
Really?
worked. It was shock. This was in Texas, actually. Yeah.
maybe we should can we end the show with Pussy Control?
I think I might have it.
I'd like to hear that. I don't think I've ever heard the song.
You've never heard the song Pussy Control?
I probably did, but I don't know it to be the name because there are a lot of songs that I know. I just like on this. No, you try to download songs on your iPod. Oh, that's too loud.
Yeah, I'm turning it down.
You had it so. Wait. So you had this loaded on your computer already?
Well, this was back in the day when it was on CD, but yeah.
Wow. So this was their first
This
song.
was their first song, and the first thing, it starts off with like a little announcement type of thing, and they wanted all of this. They wanted this whole beginning part.
Nuestra presentación especial comenzará en breve, pero antes un mensaje de nuestros auspiciadores.
And they come out with this. I had smoke, lights flashing, and they're walking out, coming out, introducing brand new Mr. and Mrs. Dumbfuck. And then they were dancing to this.
They weren't slow dancing to this.
No, they were coming on. Yeah. It's a little raunchy.
With no name speaking, and I'm here to rock your world with a tale that will soon be classic about a woman you already know. No prostitute she, but the mayor of your brain. Pussy Control. You ready?
This was their first song as husband and wife. Yep.
Wow.
You want to change? Maybe you want to change from Rod Stewart tomorrow to this?
No. I will tell you this. Not only will that not be our first song, I don't think it will be played at all on Saturday.
No, not at all.
Unless you show up and plug your computer into the speaker system. Like, here, you don't want to invite me? I'll fix your wagon.
That was
wow.
That was
Did this happen here in Las Vegas?
No, this was in Texas. This was like 1999, 1998, somewhere around there.
I've never heard that song before, by the way.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Classic.
Well,
it's a classic Prince song. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's one of his best.
Paul, you've heard this? You've heard that song before?
Oh yeah, it's one of his biggest.
Yeah, but you
hits.
guys are DJs, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if I tell you about a specific poker or blackjack, actually, you guys are poker players too. But I tell you something on a blackjack table, you'd be like, "Really?" I'm like, to me, it's
stump me. I'll put you
a
on
blackjack
the spot.
terminology.
Sure. Remember, I was a pit boss and I was a dealer.
Oh yeah.
And I do
so
play.
I might not be able to stump you. Then.
So I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, can you name 4 of the illustrious 16?
4 of the illustrious 16?
Yeah, just a quarter.
Yeah.
4 or 16. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace.
That's not part of the illustrious 16.
Okay, what's the illustrious 16?
It's 16 hands that all card counters.
Okay, well, I was figuring 16.
I stumped you then.
Yeah, you stumped me.
As a
it's worth a shot. I almost thought I was right because you paused for a second.
Well, because I'm thinking like he's talking poker now and we're talking blackjack.
Okay.
How about okay, I'll give you one that may be a little bit easier. In blackjack, what is a plug?
A plug?
There you go.
It's a ticket of cards when they're shuffling. The plug.
Where do
packet of cards.
Where do you put the plug?
Where do you put it?
Yeah.
Oh,
where does the dealer?
When the dealer's doing it, when he takes the remaining cards out of the shoe, usually breaks it down in 3 piles and puts a plug in the shoe, which would piss off a
shuffle tracker.
Shuffle tracker, and you put it in there. Yeah. That's the whole point of it.
Okay, so I think you got that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is a 1-pass shuffle?
A 1-pass shuffle is just a one shuffle through and then sent out for the cut.
Okay, so when you were where were you, a floor person or a shift person?
Where wasn't I a floor person or a shift person? Yeah.
Did they have any place did you where you worked at? Was there a 1-pass shuffle?
Colorado. Several places in Colorado, yeah.
One?
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of shuffle trackers coming in?
No, because it's a $100 max game. So it would be pointless to really have a card counter come in. Although I did talk to a card counter and he was interested in coming in, but he just never did make it.
Because it was a 1-pass shuffle?
Because of that, because of 1-pass shuffle, and because of the fact that most of the floor people were idiots and had no idea how to spot a counter. Yeah. We might need to take a trip to Colorado.
Why?
Because you won't get caught counting. And it's deep penetration. Most of the places, 6-deck shoe would give you 5, maybe 5 1/4 decks.
Well, I played at one casino, Indian Casino in Pendleton, Oregon, the Wild Horse Casino.
Yeah, been there.
Oh, you've been there. I mean, they almost dealt all 6 decks out.
Yeah.
And the reason, and if you go there, if you're a decent card counter, you need to go up to Pendleton to play the Wild Horse Casino, because the players are so bad there that the casino manager was willing to deal out just about every card out of the deck, out of the 6X, because no one could play. So he wanted to get more. He didn't care. Well, he cared, but no one can really play. So he didn't mind dealing 5 3/4 deck out of 6, because he didn't have to worry about any legitimate smart players there, because these players. I mean, I've seen bad blackjack players in a lot of casinos all over the country, but Pendleton, Oregon, the Wild Horse Casino, they might have the best composition of bad blackjack players. I mean, just horrible playing.
Now, I know I've been to that one, but I've been to a couple of casinos in Oregon. Is that the one that's like out literally in the middle of nowhere?
Nowhere.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I've been to.
There's a McDonald's close by.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
There's another one that I've been to that was right on the base of what they call Cabbage Mountain. Have you ever been there? And I was trapped there for like 4 days. I was a truck driver for a little while.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't really go up to the Pendleton, to the Wild Horse Casino, to play blackjack. I went up there to play the Poker Roundup, which is they hold it they hold it 3 times a year, but the big ones are in spring and fall. So I would go up there in the spring and fall to play, and great tournament. They add money to the prize pool. No matter what the entry fee is, the juice for the casino is only $15, but they feed all the poker players.
Wow.
So if you're playing a tournament, they stop the tournament at a specific time. If you're still alive in a tournament, you go into the dining hall first and eat. If you've been knocked out of the tournament, they issue you a blue ticket to the ones who are still alive in a tournament. They go into the dining hall to eat. Once they're in and online, then the players who've been knocked out show their entry receipt to the guy at the door, and they feed you.
Wow.
So basically, you're playing for almost juice free, because you don't have to pay for dinner. Dinner supply. They're adding money to the prize pool.
Yeah.
They're adding thousands. Each day is at least 3,000 added to the prize pool.
Wow.
So, and on top of that, so I would go up there and play the poker tournaments, and I would look at the schedule, and let's say tomorrow was $215 entry fee. I'd go out to the pit, and I win my $215. Come back.
Doing what you do.
Doing what I do, and buy in for the tournament. And I would do that every day. And I'd be up there for 13, 14 days and literally pay for my tournaments. I mean, I made money at the blackjack tables, and just, I cashed a couple of small cashes in the poker tournaments up there, but it was a free roll for me, because the blackjack game was so good.
Yeah.
That it's pretty hard to. You're dealing that deep. You're dealing that deep, and I'm pretty good at managing my money on the table. With that kind of penetration and with proper money management, it's pretty hard to beat me.
And do they have decent limits, or $500 limits, or do they have good limits?
The table the $25 table, you can go to $500, and the $10 and $5 table, you can go to, I think it's $200 and $100.
Yeah.
So
you were at the quarter tables mostly?
No, I stayed away from the quarter tables.
Really?
Yeah. And that was a point that Jamie brought up, where he's willing to play for big money, but he'll also play for $100. I'm the same way with blackjack. I love to play the game, and you may run into me in town here, and you'll see me playing $20, $40, $60 blackjack hands, which you would think, oh, Joe, I thought you would play bigger than that. And I will play bigger than that, but I enjoy the game. Here's the deal, Mark. I love beating the casinos, whether it's for $200 or $2,000. So when I go out to a local casino, you can't go to the Fiesta Henderson and beat them for $3,000. I mean, you can, but the doors they might shut the doors down. So you go in there and you pick up. I'll go in there and start with $20 bets and $40 bets, and try to win $200, $300, and I'm out the door. So and I meant to say that to Jamie too. I feel the same way about that he feels about poker. I feel about blackjack. I love playing the game. It doesn't matter what limits I'm playing, as long as the game is a beatable game. I'm not going to play a double deck game where they're dealing only 1 deck out of 2. I'm just wasting my time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get enough hands out to when the count does get good. There's so many cards that are behind the cut card that it's like kind of that, like the information that you can never get to. They're there, but they're not going to come out. I want to play a game where I pretty much know that what's coming out, and it's going to come out when they cut off a deck right in the middle. I mean, I played a game at I won't say the casino, but it sounds like Tuscany, and I watched them deal the previous shoe, and they dealt about 5 decks out of 6, maybe 4.5 to 5 decks out of 6, and I sat down, and I guess they know who I am, and they literally put the cut card right in the middle. They cut 3 decks off, and I'm like, wow. So I didn't want to get up because that's just like saying, hey,
I am who you think I am.
I am who you think I am. So I played and just played until I won a couple of dollars and I quit, you know.
Yeah.
I caught a blackjack and got up like $15 and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Because if you get up right away, it's just like, okay, we fooled you, you know.
Yeah.
You sat down and we just cut the shoe on you, you know. So, yeah, if there's a game, it doesn't really matter. I'll play. Like if you and I go out one night, and we may go out and just play at a $10 table. You could still bet a couple, you know, if the count gets really good, we might stick out a couple of black chips, but I don't have to stick out. I don't need black chips to get the blood boiling, so to speak.
Gotcha.
You know, I want to win.
I had a nice little run this week at Paigo. It sounds like Santa Fe.
Sounds like Santa Fe?
Yeah.
Well, let's see, but you can play Paigo all day. They're not going to throw you out.
Yeah, no, but
you know, because you're paying every time you win, you're paying a commission.
They were getting ready to.
They were not.
They thought I was doing something. Well, because I had 15 hands in a row. Again,
you won 15. No pushes in between.
No pushes in between. No losses. 15 hands in a row. Started at a $40 bet, went to 60, went to 80, went to 100, 120, 160, and then 200, 300.
That's 400. Almost unheard of to win that many amount of hands.
I lost a $900 hand. Yeah.
That's.
And get this. This is how sick it was. You know Paigo.
I do.
This is how sick it was on the $900 hand. The dealer was not getting anything higher than most of the hands. Jack high Paigo, King high Paigo, Ace high Paigo, maybe a small pair with nothing on top. Win all the way. Last hand that I had a $900 bet up, and Queens 4s with an Ace 9. What would you do?
Queens and 4s?
Queens 4s, Ace 9, Deuce. What would you do in that hand?
I think you're supposed to split them up.
You got to split them.
Yeah,
fours and queens.
Top.
Yeah, 4s on top. So I said I'm going to go and do it, but my gut was telling me I should put the Ace 9 up. I should put the Ace 9 up. But I didn't. I said, no, I'm going to split them. 4s and queens. Dealer turns over quad kings. Kings on top, kings on bottom. For my $900 bet. Had I listened to myself,
you would have pushed.
I would have pushed at least, yeah. Could have had one more.
Now, if you had, and for anybody who listens in, when you do keep the 2 pairs down, is when they're 2 smaller pairs. I think is it 6s and below?
It depends on the casino.
Right.
At station casinos, if it's 6s or below,
right,
they keep them together no matter what.
Right.
At Caesars, I was playing last month, and they had 2s and 3s, and they split them. I was like, really?
They split them.
Yeah, so it depends on the house.
And then it also depends what your top hand's going to be. If you have like a big ace, that helps in making your decision, because a big ace is like almost like having almost like having a pair of deuces every time.
We're going to have this as our lead out song at the end. We still got a minute. We got a minute or so, but yeah, that's very true.
Prince.
Got to have the rest of the song.
You know who Prince's old girlfriend is, right? Or one of his old girlfriends.
One of them? Which one?
Sheena Easton.
God, yeah. I saw her in concert.
My next door neighbor.
Is she really?
Yeah.
So I saw her in concert at the...
and it's funny.
Is that the one you know? The one that told you to buy the house?
No, actually, Sheena Easton is her backyard butts up against my backyard. And I lived there for 11 years. Never knew Sheena Easton was my neighbor until Sissy moved in. Sissy has 2 kids who became friends with Sheena's 2 kids.
Yeah.
And the kids were over one day, and they said, "Oh, yeah, my nanny's taking care of me because my mom is working. She's in Japan." I'm like, "Your mom works in Japan?" "Oh yeah, she's on tour." I'm like,
tour doing what?
Yeah, what's your mom do? She goes, "Oh, my mom's a singer. Really? What's her name?" Sheena Easton. I'm like, nah. So he said, Jake is her son. Jake said, really? So I went online and I Googled her, and it came up what her 2 children's name was. I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
My next door neighbor is Sheena Easton, who, by the way, when I scoop up the pine needles out of my pool,
you throw them in hers?
I was throwing them in Sheena Easton's backyard for the last 11 years. I haven't stopped.
Well, you don't discriminate at least. That's good.
Yeah.
You don't discriminate on a celebrity. I saw her in a concert at the Hilton years ago. Good concert.
Really?
I always like that. My baby takes the morning train. Right? That's one of hers?
She has an incredible voice, and I always knew that, even though I didn't know it was Sheena Easton, when she would come out of her back door, patio door, and call for her cat. She's got a couple of dogs and cats. I'm like, man, that girl's got a great voice. She should think about becoming a singer, not knowing the whole entire time this was Sheena Easton.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of funny when I found out. Oh,
that's why she's got a good voice. Yeah.
That's who pine needles I'm throwing back over the wall. Pretty funny.
This has been a great show today. I had a lot of fun.
Are we done?
Pretty much.
How about the pussy control? What's going on with that?
It's still pussy. It's still a controlling.
Hey, just so that I want to set the record straight. Anthem View Restaurant, you are invited. If you show up, you will be welcomed with open arms.
With open arms?
Open arms.
From you?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, look.
Gay. That's kind of gay.
Oh, you're not one of those guys that... You're not homophobic now, are you?
No, not at all. No,
Okay.
you know.
So, if I gave you... If you came to my wedding, I would give you a hug.
Wow.
But
I might show up just for that.
Unless you were really bothered by a man hug.
No, not at all. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm
no.
strictly
Hey, whatever a man and another man and a donkey and a car battery and a duckling and some pudding do on their own time is their own business, you know?
I don't think a battery's doing much on their own time except sitting there.
You've never been to a party at my house.
A battery?
Car battery. Gotta have power.
Well, let me see if I got this right. Now, I know Mexicans have a really weird way of generating electricity in the house. Are you telling me the lights in your house burn off a car battery?
No, you didn't even get it. That was more of a sexual reference. That was, never mind.
Well,
old people just don't get it.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I'm old. Hey, Mark, it was another good show.
Fantastic show. Thanks to Jamie Gold, 2006 World Series of Poker main event champion, for coming on and redialing several times when the call dropped. And, of course, the show will be available online on my website, www.markahernandez.com. Joe House of Pain is the House of Pain, or at the House of Pain.
Soon to be the House of Murphy.
Soon to be the House of Murphy on Twitter. Vegas Banner on Twitter for me. And that's it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, for everybody.
Congratulations. Good luck on your wedding tomorrow. Thank you to our engineer, Paul. Have a great one. Good night.
TLVS1.com. Slam and jam your groove right here with the best destination over the net. Talk, music, and fun.
You already know what it is. Bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
Only on TLVS1.com. The Vegas station.
Yeah. Feel that chat now. Yeah. Shonda Paul, so me go so then. Well, I don't really care what people say. I don't really watch what them want do. Still I got to stick to my girls like glue. And I might not play number 2. All I know this time it is getting jet. Need a lot of trees up in my head. Had a lot of dental in my bed to run that real. Well, I know flicker girl, them out the road, them got the goody. One thing me up to tell them.